Hello, everyone, and welcome to SRTV's coverage of the Sim 500 Esports Cup Series, brought to you by NC811. Call before you dig. Tonight is the first for Sim 500. The crew will be racing on dirt at the Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm Kevin England, and I want to welcome in Jerry West to the program. Jerry, how about it? Dirt racing tonight. We're going to have a blast watching it, this Food City event for Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. If it's anything to do like they did last night with Briscoe and Reddick, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of action out here tonight. It's definitely something that's different than what these drivers are used to on a week-to-week basis. So it's going to. I don't know if it's going to be the same people that are up front on a normal basis or different. Some of them dirt might come out on some of these guys, and they just might catch on pretty quick and take to it pretty good.
Yeah, so the Sim 500 crew, I believe, out here tonight is kind of split. We know that some of these drivers run in the Thursday night Sim 500 activities on dirt, and a lot of them prepared for this race by doing practice, and a couple of them just showed up here and have no clue what they're doing. They're just here to have a little bit of fun and see what happens. There's a couple ringers in here, not the normal expected, although watching the practice, Jerry, I think Daniel Falkingham's going to be fast. He just seems to figure his way out no matter what.
Yeah, I've ran a lot of laps with Daniel, and he's always been up front somewhere, usually in front of me, if that makes sense. But yeah, he looks good out there. He's fastest on the track, 19,300 is what he put down. Shannon Wood not doing too bad either. Also ran a 3. Bentley Glazer, Chad Coleman, John Adams, Josh Parker. A lot of these guys, I know these names, man. They run up front. Richard Beasley's doing pretty good. Jimmy Coleman, Tyler Dalton. A lot of fast drivers here, but there's a lot of cars, so anything could happen. And I've seen Brian Macklin, a lot of different people run up front. I'm just interested to see what's going to happen here on the dirt. And I've been a big Anthony Calatoni fan. I like watching him and EJ and a lot of these guys, man, that are out here. I like watching, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen with those guys as well.
Yeah, Tony, fellow New Jersey dude. First Cup race on the dirt for these guys, and I have to say to you, in the practice race, in the practice leading up to tonight, whatever, the guy that seems to be consistent and fast is Bentley Glazer. I'm guessing we're going to take a look at him tonight and see him running up front. I anticipate we're going to have a lot of cautions because of the unfamiliarity of this, especially as the track slicks off. This place is a handful. I ran 3 races this week in NIS, and I have to say the track dynamics in this new build of the Speedway are amazing, but it is a tricky place to run. There's a lot of different trouble points in this racetrack.
Yeah, and I watched the Pro Series run here last week, and I tell you what, they was bouncing around quite a bit. It was really bumpy down the straightaways. It was causing them to have a little bit of trouble getting into the walls, and you'll see these cars start to bounce around a little bit as they start to get into that track and build those bumps. It just depends on how they're running this track, on how the track state's going to be for them. So hopefully they don't tear it up too bad, make it too hard on themselves.
Yeah, they got to be really careful coming up off the corner there as you see the car porpoises through the bumps. I was listening to Tyler Dalton earlier in practice, trying to see if he and his crew chief could work out how to get the car to handle. They were doing so much to work on the steering ratios, the brake bias and such, but one of the key things they were looking to do is see if they could figure out how to drive around those bumps. If you're on throttle coming through them, it gets to be really tricky for these guys as we're getting ready for qualifying.
Yeah, this is going to be important here, qualifying. Yeah, very important to qualify good. 30, how many cars? 30-something cars here. So the further you are closest to the front, the less trouble that you're going to have. I wouldn't want to be in the back of this thing.
Let's talk a little bit about the statistics here for tonight. It's a single car qualifying. They're going to take all the cars that do not qualify by speed. They're going to take 8 cars out of qualifying from speed. They're locked into the show. The rest of them will run 4 10-lap heat races. And from that, they will take the top 4 in each of the qualifiers for the main. That'll put 24 into the event. After that, they have a 16-lap last chance qualifier. And from that, they will head into a 120 lap feature, total of 166 laps of
Wow.
racing tonight.
That's going to be a lot of racing. It's going to be a lot of work, man. This track will wear you out in a minute. And what a lap by John Adams. He put down a 19.113. The fastest we've seen in practice was a 3. So he's about 2/10 faster. Chad Coleman second with a 19.365. So John Adams picked up the pace there in qualifying.
Yeah, see Chad Coleman out there. Chad's been fast, and he's one of those guys that runs Thursday nights in the dirt. He knows how to get around this speedway. Mike Kelly, also another dirt racer supporting is, I ran with Scott Stenzel recently, and I was surprised. He came out, felt a little cold, but somehow just picked up a natural affinity to this, and you've just put down a 19.267 right now, second on the board.
Nice lap by him, man. He's going to pull it on in. That should be good enough for him. I wouldn't take no chances tearing that car up. Kevin Brown right now in fourth, John Fowler in fifth, Josh Parker in sixth, Mike Kelly, Chris Jabou. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but Justin Mons and Tyler Dalton is your top 10 here in qualifying so far.
Yeah, good lap by John Adams. I'll tell you, low 19 is something special at this racetrack. You just had never left, let it run it, let it eat, so to speak, up there on the top of the racetrack. And the track is absolutely perfect grip right now. Just enough moisture that you can keep your throttle in it. And we see a lot of these drivers finishing up. Just saw Brian Macklin
Ooh.
back in there.
Richard Beasley put down a 204 to bring his stuff up into second. The 10 car looking good. Daniel Falkenham in third. He moves up into the top 5 there with a 236. Nice couple laps there late in qualifying, and coming off of a win in Martinsville. You'd think a little momentum would carry in for Eric Arnold, but they're headed to Talladega next week. So it's a big shift in the schedule from Martinsville to Bristol Dirt and then off to Talladega. All right, just
You got
about
enough cars
everybody's.
in here to warrant a last chance qualifying race. I was just trying to, count all the cars that we had
Yeah.
sitting in here tonight. We just have 2 drivers, Doug Roth, EJ O'Rourke, Christopher Williams, also sitting there. Did not take time. I'm not sure if he's in the server, but just a couple to go here as you see Cal and Tony putting his lap in here. He's currently a 19.836. That's not going to make the cut, it looks like. We've pretty much set our field for the 8 that are going to make it through here. Maybe EJ O'Rourke will be the last one to see if he can sneak his way in here. As in 19.873. I ran the practice race with EJ. He was not thrilled by this event. He's basically here to put some points in, but he did not like this racetrack.
Yeah, and I don't doubt that for a lot of drivers, just coming out to, put in some points. Not sure how they're going to do here. And, I've been into races like this here on iRacing.com where I'm like, oh, it's Bristol Dirt tonight. I've only ran it about 3 or 4 times. And that was my goal coming in. I didn't qualify. I wanted to start in the back. I wanted to take it easy. And then next thing you know, I was in the top 5. Ended up running really well. I got wrecked by lap traffic leading the race. So anything could happen. I got all the way up front, and I was just coming for points.
I had the same experience. I ran 3 NIS races. I was running in the top 10 towards the end of the race. It got crashed, and all 3 of them finished out of the top of that standing. So, yeah, sometimes the bear eats you. John Adams, Richard Beasley, Daniel Falkingham, Scott Stenzel, Josh Parker, your top 5.
Yeah.
Chad Coleman, Kevin Brown, John Fowler. That rounds out your 8. I believe they're the 8 that made it in on speed. And now we will move to the heat races.
So that should put Mike Kelly and Chris Jabou. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. You may help me with that. That should put them on the pole of the heat race, right?
Yep, I agree with you. Mike Kelly's going to be in that first heat race with Justin Mons, Brian Macklin, Shannon Wood, Bentley Glazer, and such as they're lined up for that. And let me go ahead and bring you the rest of that lineup. Paul Crumry in the 15 is going to start 6th. 7th will be Trey Edson. Joey Jatina starts 8th. 9th will be Thomas O'Leary the 4th. David Comstock in the 13, he's going to start 10th. 11th will be Jose Gonzalez. Last week's winner, Eric Arnold. Congratulations to him. He starts 12th in this heat race. 13th is Randy Yoakum in the 8. Doug Sigmund starts 14th, and rounding out the field to be Christopher Williams in the 09 as they roll off, getting ready for what is the first of 4 heat races here tonight for the Sim 500 Esports Network.
Yeah, Mike Kelly starting on the pole, man. Couldn't be a better starting spot for him. And they're taking how many from this one?
4.
Top 4 from this one is going to qualify themselves into the features. So 120 laps coming up. So they got a little work to do, and then they got a lot of work to do here in a little bit.
Yeah, so really what these drivers need to do is just kind of pace themselves. You typically start in second or third gear. You don't want to spin the tires on the start. Get a clean start, get through turn 1 and 2 first, and then just try and line it up and find a rhythm. Hard to pass here, but you can do it. It's just a matter of picking the right line, getting good drive up off the corner, and we'll see whether some of these drivers can work their way forward. Had an eye on that number 18. He's right now sitting in 5th out of a qualifying spot, and I'm guessing he's going to drive his way through, but we'll see if he makes a liar out of us.
Yeah, no doubt. Coming to the green flag here. All right, coming down the backstretch. Oh, no, they're delaying it. No, green flag. Okay, that was different.
Green flag is out. They roll through turn number 1. Dirt is flying off the back of the number 2 GT Mustang as Mike Kelly jumps out to the early lead. He's followed by Justin Mons running in that high line. Right behind him, Shannon Wood tucked into 3rd. Bentley Glazer jumped up to 4th. And you got a side-by-side battle back there for 5th with Crumry down underneath Brian Macklin trying to make move on the high side.
Yeah, both of these drivers right here side by side, they're just one spot out of the top 4, and a little contact right there got him a little squirrely. And the 30 of Brian Macklin's going to take over that 5th spot. He's going to have to run down Bentley Glazer or Shannon Wood to get one of those top 4 spots, but not going to count him out yet. Still got 8 laps left.
Yeah, Shannon Wood, funny guy to talk to. He's just one of those unassuming dudes who jumped in here late in the server, didn't really know what he was doing, but certainly talented behind the wheel right now. He holds down that 3rd position with Glazer down on the bottom, trying to sneak by. Good run for the autism awareness number 49 of Justin Mons sitting there in 2nd, and Mike Kelly looks pretty smooth. Scrapes the outside wall as he drives through, and I see they're running right through the middle lane right now with the track having as much moisture. It's a good place to be, Jerry.
Absolutely, yeah, and you know, they got to do it for multiple laps, and a lot of things that help you here is rhythm at Bristol. Sometimes you can get out of rhythm and it really mess you up, but right now the track really clean, and some good hard clean racing going on right here with these 3.
Yeah, and it's funny what the dirt brings is you see somebody like Jose Gonzalez running back there in the 11th position, last week's winner, running in 10th. You got Thomas O'Leary and a couple of them off the pace. Here comes David Comstock to the bottom, trying to wrestle away that 7th place position from Trey Edson, former champion in the Sim 500 series. But right now, top 4 have it covered, and boy, the battle on the racetrack is between Glazer and Wood, the 2 of them banging fenders over there coming up. Difficult to get off and get that traction on the bottom, and Glazer slips up a little bit. Wood now going to try and put the challenge to Mons in 2nd.
Yeah, Wood's doing everything that he can do in that 0-2 to seal that 3rd spot, holding off Bentley Glazer. You know, you was talking about him earlier. Now look at him all over the back end of that 0-2 machine.
He's the driver on the march right now, showing a lot of speed. He's 115 going into the corner, which is pretty good. Paul Cumry, I tell you, he looked really good in that practice race last week. Everybody noticed how he was getting able to keep that car smooth and sideways. Glazer up into the wall after bouncing off, and here comes Crumry underneath. He's going to take over that 4th spot.
Wow, things change up really quickly here at Bristol, man. It just takes one little mistake or a misjudgment, and you find yourself out of the top 4 transfer spot. White flag out, final lap here. Bentley Glazer drops back to 5th. That's going to put Paul Crumry in that 4th and final transfer spot. But our leader up front, Justin Mons, got around Mike Kelly, started on the pole. So Kelly's got one final chance. There he comes. He makes a mistake coming off the corner. Still going to finish 2nd, though. Wow.
If you'll ever
Interesting
be right there
finish.
at the end. But they'll all get new cars for the
Yeah.
next one. And it's got to be a shocker that Glazer did not make it through.
Justin Mons, Mike Kelly, Paul Crumright, Shannon Wood, your top four. Bentley Glazer just one spot away. You hate to see it.
Comstock, Edson, O'Leary, and they are going to be back there. Tutina, Gonzalez, Yoakum, Eric Arnold, Brian Mackler, and Christopher Williams, with Doug Sigmund coming up in the 15th slot. All those out of the top four will go into the last chance qualifier. Let's see if we can bring you the lineup as they're getting prepped to set the grid for heat number 2. And looking at the numbers here, obviously it looks like they're going to run 2 heats instead of 4.
Yeah, 14 drivers in that last one. So, yeah, that's a lot of cars. Let's double check. Yeah, top 4, 2 heat races, and then they'll do a B main. The B main will be 16 laps. We'll find out more information on who qualifies from the B main as these heat races finish up. Right now, we got heat race number 2 underway. Chris Jaboo with that number 5 machine. Look at him in that Kyle Larson, HendrickCars.com car. He's going to be starting on the pole of this one. Jimmy Coleman will be on his outside there in first row. Second row is going to be Tyler Dalton and EJ O'Rourke. Row number 3, Tommy Ryan, Scott Sibley. That's going to be interesting. Elliot Henderson and Anthony Calatoni will be in row number 4. Byron Daly and Charles Woods will be in row number 5 with Mike Montesi and Doy Woods. Row number 6, Stoney Benfield and Doug Roth in row number 7. 14 drivers, 4 of them will move on.
Yeah, Mike Montesi was talking about how they ruined this racetrack, putting dirt on it a little earlier. So but he's one of those drivers I know that didn't really grasp the gravitas of this. But, you know, like you said before, sometimes when you just start putting in the laps, eventually you find your rhythm and you say, you know, this isn't so bad. This is a little different for these guys. The dynamic of the track has changed from the heat race that ran before it. They are in a progressive racetrack, so as dried off as it was from the first race, not as tacky. As green is out, and they'll head to the first turn for the first time.
Yeah, pretty good start there for Chris. It looks like they're all kind of starting off pretty easy here. This is their last chance to get in the show here, so they got to be very careful, but they also got to be very fast. And right now, Jaboo is out front. They got about 2 or 3 car lengths over Jimmy Coleman.
Yeah, comfortable spot right now for Tyler Dalton, sitting in there second. He's got about 3-4 car lengths over third place. Is the 12 of Simley up against the wall. So is the 37 over there, but we're going to stay green. As how about EJ O'Rourke running in fourth, covered that position. He's got Tommy Ryan digging underneath.
Yeah, Tommy Ryan, man. I've ran many races with Tommy, and he's pretty fast behind the wheel. I'd like to see what he does here on the dirt tonight, so it'd be cool to see him in the race tonight. He's running 5th. He's got to pick up another spot, and that other spot, not going to be easy. It's EJ O'Rourke and Jimmy Coleman in front of him.
Yeah, right now top 2 have checked out as the 99 Ryan actually stepped out of turn number 2 in the car jump.
Look at that. Wow.
Now Byron Daly is going to take up the charge and see if he can get up there.
Well, he was carrying a lot of speed. What we was just watching there was Mike Montesi in that 6 machine. He just went right around Tommy Ryan. Ryan had a little bit of trouble getting through the corner, it looked like, and it could have been worse than that.
Yeah, Doy Woods retired from the race. See him sitting over there, so he'll go to the LCQ. Is out front, it has not changed. It's been Chris Gibbo all the way through. He's got a pretty comfortable lead right now. He just needs to keep it between the fences and pedal down. As second place Tyler Dalton gets a little of that wall grab, but he's able to drive off, still holding that second spot.
Yeah, we're on board our leader in that 5 machine, and he's doing a fantastic job, able to stay out in front of in front of Tyler Dalton right now. But like you said, Dalton makes a little bit of mistake. Every time he does that, the lead's going to open up a little bit bigger and bigger.
Yeah, slow car down there on the bottom.
Coming up on lap traffic as well.
Yeah, the 12th was stricken from that incident earlier. They're going to go down underneath Doug Roth. Chris Gabo changes it as Roth goes up and slaps the wall with the side of the Petty Dirty Monkey Camaro, and everybody looks like right now they're getting by cleanly, as now it's Tyler Dalton trying to get underneath the stricken car of Scott Simley.
Yeah, we went on board with Chris DeBooth through the corner there, and he kind of downshifted. Maybe he's found something there with downshifting, but either way, he's kind of figured it out. Running some nice lap times, 20.535 for him. But last lap, Tyler Dalton about 0.3 faster. So 2 laps to go. He's not going to have enough time to run down Chris unless something happens.
Well, these drivers talked about that challenge over there in turn 2. There's something about the middle of the corner where the car just loses traction, it pushes up. You have to kind of float it in low, let it get up into that goal, and you could see how much they yaw these cars sideways. And really what they're trying to do is get it to be straight coming off, so when they hammer down on the throttle, they can get it, and it is mission accomplished for the number 5. Chris Cabot. Jimmy Coleman is going to come across and clip Tyler Dalton, who finished second, and Byron Daly snuck by right at the end to pick up the 4th qualifying spot.
Yeah, got around the 41 of EJ O'Rourke to take that 4th and final transfer spot there. It's a pretty good deal. And Chris, man, what a race by him, able to lead every lap.
Well, that locks in our 8, 4, and 4, and now we go to the last chance qualifier. We got 21 drivers on the grid here, with Bentley Glazer starting on the pole. EJ O'Rourke runs second. 3rd starting spot for David Comstock, with Tommy Ryan starting in 4th. Trey Edson in the number 7 starts 5th. 6th starting spot for Charles Wood. Thomas O'Leary, the 4th in the 08, starts in 7th. 8th starting spot outside row 4 for Elliot Henderson in the 37. Joey Jatina going to start 9th. 10th starting spot here for Scott Simley. Jose Gonzalez starts 11th. Outside row 6 for Doug Roth in the 43. Randy Yoakum in the 8 will start in the 13th position. Mike Montesi 14th. Eric Arnold 15th outside row number 8. 16th starting spot for Anthony Calantoni. Brian Macklin in the 30 will start 17th. The Daytona winner will have to his outside Stoney Benfield in the number 75, and it'll be Christopher Williams starting in 19th. Last row, Doy Woods and Doug Sigmund in the 04. He starts 21st here in the last chance qualifier.
Starting way back in 21st, Doug is, but I believe they're taking 16 from this B main, so it's going to be good for a lot of drivers that may be struggling. They just got to be better than 5 other guys, you know.
Yeah, really, the key here is to be clean. With so many cars on the racetrack and with the track slicking off, you could see that dark groove through the middle. Hard to find grip there, and pretty easy to turn the car sideways, especially from the middle off. The car just does not want to hook up when you start to squeeze that throttle. Guys are going to have to be careful and have a clean race.
Yeah, and with this being 16 laps, it's going to give us an idea of what this feature race here is going to be like, the 120 lapper. A lot of cars are out on the racetrack too, so I'm excited to see this one.
Pace truck leads the field around. It'll be Bentley Glazer on the pole, with EJ O'Rourke to his outside. David Comstock, Tommy Ryan, Trey Edson make up your top 5 as the pace truck pulls behind the wall, and starter looks him over. Green flag is out. We're racing last chance qualifier, and remember, we're going to take just a handful here, and these drivers are racing for their opportunity to be in the 32 that make the cut for the final.
Yeah, my apologies. It did say they was taking 16, and that was just my mistake. I forgot they were only taking a few. Well, he got out quick, man. Bentley Glazer's just wasted no time taking off on these guys. 4 or 5 car length lead right now, 1.2 seconds to be exact, over EJ O'Rourke. David Comstock's in 3rd, and Tommy Ryan and Trey Edson reps up your top 5 at the moment.
Contact there with the 8 of Randy Yoakum. Just got sidebarred by Mike Montesi, who backs the car into the wall, and Mike's going to pull away.
Yeah,
I don't
Randy's
see it crossing out right now. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage.
No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some damage. No, not yet. Randy's got some Oh, car around the 7. He's in the middle of the track. That should have brought a caution out. Not sure if they're going to have cautions in this.
Yeah, I'm going to guess cautions are off
Yeah.
because I see the 37 Elliot Henderson down there sideways on the apron. So you know, typically in this race, as soon as a car turns sideways and stops, the yellow's out. So my guess is cautions are
Yeah.
out, and these guys need to be really careful. I see Christopher Williams in the 09 up against the wall. He's in 15th right now. He just needs to get that thing to the finish.
Yeah, he's hanging in there right now, trying to figure out the racetrack. He's got a long way to go, though, if he wants to catch up to EJ and those guys up front, like David Comstock, Bentley Glazer. I'm interested to see if any of these guys will be able to run down Bentley. Don't think so at the moment, but anything could happen.
Yeah, for Glazer, the most important thing for him is not to get in a mess, right? Or any of these guys that are in this top 10, as you see, when the cars come off of the corner, the track's starting to form some of them dipty-doos.
EJ got a little contact there, put him in the fence. He's got a lot of damage on that 41 now, but he's still in third. He's going to have to pick up the pace because he's got Thomas O'Leary and Tommy Ryan right behind him coming.
Yeah, these guys have to be careful. When they see a car in front of them up against the wall, they have to assume that maybe that car is going to catch the wall. And, you know, you have to be prepared in case they stop in front of you. You're just going to completely plow them. Right now, let's bring you the rundown. Glazer, Comstock, O'Rourke, O'Leary, and Tommy Ryan make up your top 5. If we look back to where the cutoff is, Eric Arnold currently running in 16th. Out of it right now, Henderson, Montesi, Benfield and Sigmund, Charles Woods. They are off, and I'm pretty sure Sigmund and Woods have called it a night.
Yeah, I think they said that's enough. Sigmund's 6 laps down, and we do have a few cars that are a lap down. Doug Roth, Elliot Henderson, Eric Arnold, Mike Montesi, Stoney Benfield, all 1 lap down at the moment. Right now, we're on board with Jose Gonzalez. He's running 8th right now. He's got Brian Macklin, Anthony Calatoni right in front of him.
Yeah, Jose is right in the mix there as Macklin slides up high, comes down. He's going to take Calatoni to the low line. Gonzalez slips underneath. He's 0-8 of O'Leary. He's 4 running under a blanket here for about that 6th, 7th, 8th position, having a pretty good run, all running fairly clean right up in front of them. You see the battle between the 99 of Tommy Ryan, who just slid sideways, and he's got to come back. He's got to be careful.
Ooh, he
just
barely.
let go, and I have to wonder if that's going to be a penalty.
Yeah, he barely got out of there. If it was a penalty, I'm sure they'll take care of it for him. Because he didn't do anything wrong. If you go by racing rules, but iRacing, they'll get you for everything they can. You know how they are.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you cut the inside of that cone in the regular world, that's going to be a penalty. But here,
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you. Is man, I see these guys coming through those bumps, and
Starting to bounce.
it really unsettles the car.
Yeah, they're starting to bounce around quite a bit in certain places on the racetrack. And it's mainly coming off of the corner when the bumps start and down the straightaway. These corners stay pretty smooth for the most part. I'm interested to see how the track's going to play out here during this 120 lapper. They're putting some laps on it now. It's starting to slicken up a little bit. But with a 120 lap feature race here for the Sim 500 guys, these guys are going to be up next to that wall, I would say. Either that or they'll be all the way down by the apron. And that's where I like to run at.
Watching Bentley Glazer come off the corner here out of turn number 2 down the backstretch. He's right behind Tommy Ryan, who's running after that incident. Ryan slides sideways right in front of your leader. And here comes Bentley to take the white flag. 1 more lap to go.
And Ryan went around. That's a tongue twister. Ryan went around again. Lost a few more spots there. He fell back to 14th. Glazer's going to wrap it up here on this final lap. White flag in the air. He's right behind the number 8 right now. That is Thomas O'Leary or Randy Yoakum.
Randy Yoakum, yeah.
Is that Randy?
And Glazer's going to come away with the win, and we're going to see where Eric Arnold, who right now appears to be the car number 31 in that 16th place position. Actually, no, he's just snuck around Elliot Henderson, and If I got it right, I think Henderson is the driver that pulled the last one. Drivers that did not make the cut: Doug Roth, Mike Montesi, Stoney Benfield, Doug Sigmund, and the others that we talked about. Now, one of the interesting things about this, Jerry, is they'll get points. If you had run a race with 43 cars, you'll end up finishing 33rd, 34th, whatever. Those are the points that they'll get this week because this is a points race.
Absolutely, yeah, and you know, we talked about it earlier. A lot of guys just coming out to get those points, so hopefully it works out for them. You know.
So the feature has been called in.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got going on here. Just want to make sure that I have this right and that we didn't have. This is the feature, yeah? Or is this the second?
This is it. This is the main one.
All right, here we go.
This is where it counts to kind of be patient, but also be fast, be diligent. You got to pay attention to your surroundings. Don't just look off your bumper, you know, look ahead of you, see all these things going on. I'm sure we'll have some cautions here tonight. A few drivers will struggle. Some of them will prevail. Some of them will just be extremely fast. I'm sure we'll find out who those drivers are here pretty soon. Let's take a look at our starting grid.
A lineup for you here. John Adams going to be on the pole. On his outside, Richard Beasley in the 10. You got the 39 of Falkingham in fourth. Stenzel to his outside, row 2 in the 42. Josh Parker in the 81. Then you have Kevin DeBrown. This, I think, is a second event because we haven't seen these guys, have we?
It's saying it's the feature race, 120 laps.
Okay, yep, sorry. Just having a mental brain fade there. Hold on. Let me do that again. Chad Coleman lines up in 6th.
Yeah.
Kevin DeBrown is in 7th. You know why? These guys qualified on speed. I forgot about that. Right to the outside is John Fowler in the 48. Then we start to get to those cars that qualified through the heat races and such. The 49 is on the inside, Justin Mons. Then you have Chris Gibbo, Tyler Dalton, Mike Kelly, Jimmy Coleman, Paul Crumride, Byron Daly, Shannon Wood, David Comstock, and others coming through. This is 120 lap feature, and I have to say this should be rather interesting, especially as the track conditions change, Jerry. Pace cars in, greens out, and now we've set them free here. It's feature event time here at Bristol Dirt.
Yeah, 120 laps here at Bristol and 32 cars, if I'm not mistaken. 30. Yeah, 31. Wow. See if we can get
right now, these drivers just need to focus on being careful, find a line, make sure you keep awareness of who's around you. They've reset the track, so there's a little bit moisture in the track. Beasley way up high out of turn 2. One car way down low, the 42 of Stenzel. Everybody just keeps it going in the right direction here as we're working lap number 2 out front. It is the number 21 of John Adams leading the way. He's got Daniel Falkingham right behind him and Josh Parker running in 3rd.
Yeah, John Adams is he's on a mission right now. He's got that car on the rail, and it shows because he's got a nice little lead over Daniel Falkingham, Josh Parker, and Kevin Brown. But man, I tell you what, these guys are going to get into some trouble when lap traffic starts to heat up, and they're going to have to find out which way they want to go, and hopefully they can get through it cleanly. But right now, it looks good for the guys up front, all single file for the most part.
Got Stenzel sideways over there. He's around down there on the apron, and that is going to bring out the yellow as a personal comfort Camaro just slightly backs into the wall, and he grabs a gear. He's going to drive away.
Yeah, let's go back on the replay and see what happened to him. Let's watch it. Their first caution of the night here, the 42. Looks like he's right behind the number 5. That Hendrick Cars.com number 5 machine was looking good. Chris Jabot. Oh, just got into. It's like the 18 of
Bentley Glazer.
Bentley Glazer gave him a little tap, sent him around. Not a whole lot of damage, just a little bit of left rear damage on that 42, so should be all right. He might go in. I doubt it.
Yeah, during this first caution, I'm going to take a moment to say the title sponsor for the Sim 500 Esports Cup Series is North Carolina's Call 811 Before You Dig. They're on the web at nc811.org. Did you know April is National Safe Digging Month? You can access the campaign toolkit on the NC811 website to spread the message. You need to learn how the safe digging process works. You want to know who is digging in your area? Just visit nc811.org or check out the NC811 app. We thank NC811 for their support of the series.
Absolutely, man. A lot of great people out there do a lot of great things so that we can get on here and watch these guys go around at Bristol on iWrestling.com. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot of fun. And we couldn't do it without a lot of support from people out there, a lot of great people out there.
CD41 of EJ O'Rourke making his way around. I believe he's the lucky dog recipient. He's going to roll here around the pace car.
Yeah, he scored a lap down. Sure. There he goes.
There he goes. Okay. He just wanted to make sure everybody got the message that he was coming around, and he's going to clear, go back and join to the back tail end of the longest line. John Adams is your leader. Daniel Falkingham running second. Josh Parker third. Kevin DeBrown is in that fourth spot, holding down fifth. Richard Beasley, good ride for the Tide Ride Ford. And behind him, Justin Mons got a dinger on the back of his number 49. And we haven't talked about this, Jerry, but, you know, running these cars, unless you get some significant damage, they generally run pretty well here. Front, back damage. We've seen cars without noses, without hoods. Still competitive on this racetrack.
Yeah, the only way they would have any trouble probably would be heat. So if they was to hit something real hard with the front end, they might start overheating, especially depending on how high they are in the RPMs as they're going around this racetrack. But if John Adams can keep up what he's doing, he's pretty much got this thing on lock. He started off really well. He's got 110 more laps to do, though, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can hold off Daniel that time. Or if Daniel can figure something out, maybe get around him, or something happens to Dan, you know, anything could happen. Still got a long way to go.
I suspect we're going to have a lot of comers and goers, especially as this track slicks off. I'll tell you, when the track gets black and all that moisture goes away, it is a handful to get yourself through that corner. But we'll see what's going to happen. And you know, there's a couple trouble zones on this racetrack. You cannot tell where the apron is. It's difficult, and if you get that left front down there on the apron, or you're down low on the exit of the corner, it unsettles the car. And well, we saw it in some of those other races. There's going to be huge holes off of the corner, turn two especially, I should say, to the backstretch where the car is going to jump through. This race is going to be quite interesting as it develops.
Absolutely. Green flag's out.
Good jump for Adams. He gets away. It is Daniel Falkingham to the high side, and he's got the challenge from Josh Parker down to the bottom. Last year's champion unable to get the grip off the corner as Falkingham's going to pull ahead. And slide job up into third goes Josh Parker right in front of Kevin DeBrown. DeBrown back end swings out, snags the fence. Sparks coming off as Mons is here comes. Wow, nice job by Beasley to jump up there to fourth.
Beasley making moves out there. Now he's on the inside of the 81 of Josh Parker, looking to pick up a spot. Parker looking good, though, able to stop his little run. Stays out in front. I hear some beating and banging going on down there. Might have an accident.
I'll tell you what, I don't want to jinx this, as Kevin DeBrown got completely sideways there, almost clipped the cone. Crumry had to take evasive action. He gets into the two of Shannon Wood, but for guys that race dirt or race asphalt, they're doing pretty darn good here tonight. I'm impressed.
Yes, they're doing great. So far, so good for a lot of these drivers. And right now, we are on board of that, too, of Shannon Wood. Wood's kind of in a little bit of traffic right here. You see them. They're kind of under a blanket, but they're doing a great job. Side by side, coming off the corner. Oh, contact right there in front of him. Barely misses it. That's going to bring out the caution. We watched that one live as we were on board Shannon Wood.
Oh, that is so frustrating for Chad Coleman, who's one of the really good guys on dirt. Unfortunately for Paul Crumry, watching in the replay, just lost the car. It took right across the track, and unfortunately, four wheels, eight wheels, all of them went to the fence.
Absolutely. Let's go back and watch that on the replay one more time. Even though we watched it live, I always like watching these accidents as they happen. We'll take another look at it. When I was younger, that's all I wanted to see was the wrecks. You know, not so much
Yeah,
nowadays, but as a kid growing up, that was my favorite part. Yeah, Coleman just barely got caught up in it. Uh, it's just unfortunate right there for him.
yeah. Chad now in pit road. He's going to take four tires and fuel, probably get a little damage fixed. And my guess is it'll keep going. It'll be all right. The question will be whether he'll lose a lap while he's in there getting that service done.
Yeah, that 15 and Paul Krumrod was trying to get around Chad right there. Chad kind of come down the track a little bit as he was coming off the corner. He was just a little bit more loose than he would like to be. Not a whole lot he could have done there. And Paul just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's going to put Paul back in 32nd there after he was up there. So a little frustration probably there from Paul, but he'll probably come back. I don't see no problem with him coming back. He looked good out there.
Yeah, Coleman's still sitting down there as the pace truck goes by, so he probably has some damage he has to rectify before he can roll out there, and he'll be one lap down in the tap out tuning. Camaro got to be disappointing for him because I know he runs Thursday nights and it just has a blast running the dirt. And I think, if I have this right, he was one of the advocates to get this race on the schedule. Last year, there was a little trepidation about whether or not they would do it. This year, Joey Jachina just said, you know what, I'm going to go out, I'm going to run dirt, I'm going to get a sense for this, and if it's okay, we're going to run the show. And here we are, running it, and I think so far these guys have done a great job.
Yeah, they've done a great job. Well, they won't have to worry about doing it anymore, from what I heard. I think this is going to be the last dirt race for these Cup cars here at Bristol. So now, anything I say is unofficial, so don't take it to heart. But just a little word from a bird I heard.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion after yesterday's race about whether they should be doing this or not. More because people really enjoyed the Bristol races, and to put
Yeah.
dirt here takes away one of those. But you know what? I watched the race yesterday, and even with the rain or whatever, I thought it was a pretty entertaining race.
Yeah, it was great. A few cautions and the rain delay and all that, but the finish was really exciting for Kyle Busch to be able to come back from 3.5 seconds. The green flag is back out here. That's pretty amazing. And for the for Reddick in the 8, he got spun and still almost won the race. So it was a really close finish.
Yeah, they'll get his. And wow, look at the charge that Beasley has down there. He's running right up to the back bumper of the 39 on the low line, and seems that he's found a little something down there. Now he moves up to the middle as the top two run in that high line right up against the cushion off the corner. You got the fourth place car of Josh Parker just kind of watching that tag behind him, and he's under assault by Justin Mons. Camaro right to the back bumper as here comes Beasley to the bottom for second.
Yeah, Beasley, man, he coming in pretty good tonight's race. Qualified really well, started outside pole. He's back to 30, wants that second spot back from Daniel Falkingham. Daniel's kind of holding him off for now, and he's closing that gap from John Adams. But Adams hasn't missed a beat yet. He's pretty much in his rhythm, and he's just got to hang on to it for, about, 100 more laps.
That's all, just 100 laps.
Just
But a
100
dog
more.
got back here for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. I just saw Justin Mons tag the wall, and that allowed Byron Daly to slip by. Shannon Wood right there up off the noses. The two of Mike Kelly is yellow on the Speedway.
Yeah, it looks like Scott Simley caught up in something or slowed down at least. He's got no front end on that number 12. So I believe it was him. Let's go back and see.
Yeah, Scott had a rough go in that last chance qualifier.
Yeah, it looks like it happened in front of Scott. Scott had nowhere to go. They kind of stacked up in front of him. Yeah, a couple cars caught up in that one. The 14 caught up in it as well. Is that
Joey,
42.
I think Joey got doored there by Scott Stenzel. Stenzel turned sideways, collected the 26. One of the things that happens, Jerry, is that things happen quickly. There's no brakes. If you step on the brakes, you just slide. So if somebody's sideways in front of you, you're going to pound them.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not a lot of reaction time at that, so you gotta be reacted very quickly. And as a driver, sometimes you only have a split second to make the right decision, and you don't always make the right decision, although you may want to. But yeah, Joey just hate to see it for Joey there. He was looking good, got a little tap from the inside. He's gonna be going down pit road now, so. A few drivers coming in. John Adams and Daniel Falkingham, along with Richard Beasley, is going to stay out. Josh Parker looks like he's still out on the racetrack. Mike Kelly, Shannon Wood, and Byron Daly, they stayed out as well.
See Scott Simley down there getting some service. Right side tires going on. We don't necessarily see any tire wear for these guys. I'm kind of surprised that they're actually taking the time, but he's down and away. I tell you, one of the odd dynamics of this racetrack, when you get down the end of pit road and you're just about to transition from the pavement that's still there to the dirt, there's this huge bump there. And if you're not knowing it's there, sometimes I've seen drivers spin out and crash to the inside wall there just trying to get off the pit road.
Yeah, that'd be really unfortunate for that to happen to somebody tonight, but it definitely could happen. It's a really high bank track here at Bristol. And there's little things that could happen to you here and there around this track.
I have to say I'm most impressed with Richard Beasley. I just did not expect Rich to have such a good run here tonight. Only because I apparently wasn't paying attention at how good of a dirt driver he is. He's hanging right there in third with the top two, and I'm not surprised if he found a little something down there on the bottom and is going to challenge these guys on this restart.
Yeah, he's found it somewhere. Either way, he's been holding on to the top two, top three spot, qualified second. And I was really impressed by his qualifying run. He did lose that spot to Daniel, and he's been running that third spot for most of this race, but I'm interested to see what's going to happen here. I know he's been up front for the most part, but Josh Parker, Mike Kelly, Justin Mons, Byron Daly, Dave Comstock, a lot of guys behind him that could easily come up in there and take that spot away.
Yeah, no shame when two-time winner Daniel Falkingham drives by, but if you can hang with him after those two wins, everybody kind of looking at see whether or not this is a place to sneak away a win. Falkingham, Daly, Coleman, Macklin, Arnold, your winners this season. Could we have a first-time winner right now? Here comes Beasley to the bottom. Underneath second is he's got a good run. Car steps out a little bit. Here comes Parker to the outside. They got one slow car out in front of them that got out of the pits late, and these guys are going to be right upon a left car in short order here as they cross the line.
Yeah, that was the 8 of Randy Yoakum you seen down there on the bottom. Come out, spend a little bit too much time in the pits, but it's better to go in and get that thing fixed early than to go in late. Josh Parker takes over that second spot from Daniel Falkingham. Parker's moving on up.
Josh Parker to second here on lap number 31. As you could start to see the dust come off the back of these cars, the moisture coming out of the racetrack slicking off. You could see slick up on the top, slick down through the middle, right above the apron, and some of these drivers will be searching around for traction. Is good run off the corner to the backstretch. Here comes Josh Parker to challenge for the lead.
Oh my God.
Cars are going to make a little bit of contact. Adams is going to be able to drive away, but Parker now trying to challenge for the lead here on lap 32.
Yeah, that brought back memories from the race last night on the final lap with Briscoe and Reddick. He drove it down in there, made a little contact with the 21 of John Adams, but Adams able to hang on to it and maintains that lead. He gets it to the fence right there. Here comes the 81 of Parker. Parker's got a run on him. He's definitely going to throw it to the bottom. This track's starting to get a little bit more bouncy. Slide job for the lead. John Adams able to do a crossover there. Here comes Daniel Falkingham.
Man, that's textbook crossover. Good for
Oh,
The 21, not well. That time he got a little loose, just as we talk about. But boy, he drove it off the bottom like a rocket.
yeah, he really figured out how to get some speed on the straightaway to hold on to that lead, and then here he is back out front. There for a second, I thought he was going to be in trouble there. Josh Parker's been looking good. Parker didn't get a run like he was looking to have off of the corner there, but here he goes again, another chance. Let's see that back end starting to bounce.
Here comes the 0-2 of Shannon Wood to join that battle. As it's 3 wide, and the 81 of Parker bounces off of Falkingham, and Wood jumps to second.
Wood drove it right on around him right there, and the caution comes out. Not sure if he's going to be able to hold on to that spot, but it was a great move he made to take P2 away.
Yeah, and Parker, the biggest loser there. I think he got a little dinged, a little banged, and he's going to drop back all the way to the 4th position, maybe 5th in that exchange.
That runner caution again here. Let's see what we can find out what happened. It looks like somebody went around. Oh, the 30. Yeah, the 30 car threw it down in there, and like you said, he hit the apron. It's hard to judge that apron, and when he did, it just swung the back end around. That's Brian Macklin in that 30. Right up the racetrack, and then it looks like he got into somebody. Who's that? The 09. A couple cars got through there very luckily to get through that. He was still spinning.
There was a great debate about how many laps to make this race, and they were originally toying around with about 160 and then decided 120 would be just about right in the Goldilocks spectrum of things. And I think they're right, because I'll tell you, the longer we go and the more this track slicks off, it's going to be really a handful. One of the things I know, from the center off, the car just has absolutely no traction when you get on the throttle. You almost have to coast to the straightaway in order to get it off. I'm interested in just watching how these guys find a line around this racetrack as it starts to lose its moisture.
Yeah, and from, coming from Martinsville, which is a very hard track, and you can have a lot of bad luck there, or you can have a good race. You can have a bad race or a good race there. And the same thing happens here at Bristol, and then next week, the same thing could happen there. Pretty much a wild card race at Talladega next week. So 3 races in a row where anything can happen. You could get your first winner, or you can get a multiple winner, but it's just interesting how it all lined up like that.
Yeah, just an eclectic mix of tracks. We just came from Martinsville, then we come here to dirt. We're going to the biggest racetrack, Talladega, concrete mile at Dover, Texas, quad oval. Then you go out Midwest to Kansas, and back to a quad oval at Charlotte to round out May before we take the spring break. And these drivers will have a mix of different places to try and get the job done.
Yeah, and a lot of great tracks coming up after Talladega. You just named 4 great ones, so these guys will have some fun at those tracks. Right now, they're gonna have to grind their way through these 3 races that they had on the schedule, and make the best out of it. Like you said, show up, do your best, get some points, and move on to next week.
Yeah, if you'd have told me John Adams was going to step in here and lead every lap so far to lap 40, I would say nope, wouldn't have seen that one coming. He's been a rock star here tonight, holding off all challenges. And really one of the big things for us to consider is most times these guys are talking about clean air. There's no such thing at this racetrack, but clean racetrack to find your groove, float the thing in, drive it off. You would think it'd be easy, but he's got guys beating on the side. The left rear quarter panel is dinged from drivers trying to get to him.
A lot of cars with some damage out there, so yeah. There's going to be some beat up cars. There's going to be a lot of people working on these cars,
Yeah, don't look now, but see who's sitting in 6th place? Bentley Glazer has made his way up. Base truck pulls in. He's going to turn the field back over to John Adams one more time. John streaks away to turn number 1, side by side for 2nd. Falkingham down on the bottom with Shannon Wood. Car gives a little bit of wiggle. Wood up against the outside wall. He's able to drive it off, but Falkingham's going to have the advantage as they porpoise through the bumps. Here comes Beasley to the bottom for fifth.
A lot of good racing on these restarts, you know, and you got to have a good restart as well. Very important. And I'm interested to know which one of these drivers is shifting, who's not. And look at the bump on the backstretch as they come off turn 3. The car bounces off the ground about 1.5 feet, it looks like. I mean, from here, it just looks crazy.
We got a parking lot over there. It's the 49 of Justin Mons got around, and Kipo was involved. The 15 of Crumry crash over there. See Jose Gonzalez stopped. Scott Stenzel, who just got through to the Lucky Dog, he was able to get on the binders before he got into it, but quite a few cars got in that mix over there and took a pretty big pile of them to the fence.
Yeah, and it looks like it started with, I think, EJ. We'll go back and take another look, but I know EJ was involved. A little contact from the 31. EJ threw it down in there, slides up the racetrack. Him and the 31 come together, and then they hit again coming off of the corner, and it turns EJ around. And then after that, it looked like a few other drivers got caught up in it. Chad Coleman able to make it through, not without a little contact. Let's take a look from Chad Coleman's view.
I think actually there were 2 incidents that happened at the exact same time, because Munz got turned around in front of everybody. Joey Jatina hammered him as he was going around. There's some vicious hits over there.
Oh, Joey. Yeah, Joey was almost through that, it looks like. And the 19, or is that the 49? I can't see from this angle, but and he knocks the whole front end off of his 14 car, man. Oh my goodness. So he might have a little trouble with that. It shouldn't overheat, but if he got any damage to that radiator, then yeah, he's gonna have some overheating problems on that thing. He's coming into the pits to see if they can fix it, but I don't think there's much they can do with that.
Yeah, and just updating some fortunes of some of these drivers. Chad Coleman currently in 30th position, scored 19 laps down. The damage was extensive, and he sat on pit road quite a while, just rolled around, and now he's in his pit, maybe getting some more damage completed as he's down and away, and he'll join the field. I think he's just here trying to collect whatever points he can from the attrition.
Yeah, and John Adams, he's been out front the entire time, but it looks like he's been through every caution so far. His cars are pretty beat up on the right front and the left rear, and we're on caution number 5 here tonight.
And so unlike any of the races that we typically see, I believe that John is going to have the tires and fuel like any other regular Saturday night racetrack to run this whole thing. With the cautions, he'll be able to get there without having to put fuel in the tank, and the tires don't wear enough to worry about here. So he's just got to keep looking out that front windshield and keep the foot down.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he is a little banged up out there. It's a pretty nice paint job he's got on there. It says get well soon, Ed. So apparently something I don't know anything about. But hey, get well soon, Ed. He's representing for Ed tonight.
Yeah, so I can talk about that. Ed Burrell, one of our sim racers.
I know Ed.
Yep, that's for Ed. He's sidelined right now, going through chemo treatments for a bout with cancer, and John Adams has agreed to step in to run Ed's number for the time being until Ed can make it back to the racetrack, and give it a good run for Ed tonight as he stomps on the loud pedal, heads off down the front straightaway to turn number 1. And John has a good jump with a car length out. He's got the best in the business, Daniel Falkingham, trying to track him down.
Yeah, great thing for him to be out here representing for Ed like he is, and it couldn't be done any better than what John Adams is doing here so far at Bristol, out in front of Daniel Falkingham. And I didn't really expect for Falkingham to be as fast as he is here tonight on the dirt. I know how fast he is on the asphalt. A little bit of trouble for him there as Josh Parker gets around, takes over that second spot. And here comes the 0-2 of Shannon Wood trying to make that pass as well. That one's not going to be as easy for Wood. They're going to continue battling side by side for that third spot.
Yeah, we're running dirt and we need a shovel. As the 5 goes around over there in turn number 4, slides to a safe spot at the entry at pit entrance and is
Yeah.
going to bring out the caution here. But I was going to say, shovel for Richard Beasley got tapped by Kevin DeBrown on that restart, turned sideways, was able to gather the car, drive out with no caution, but slipped all the way back to 24.
Yeah, it's a long ways back. Right now we got 2 cars out of this thing. Paul Crumry and John Fowler's out of the race. And then Chad Coleman's 19 laps down. So we watched this replay here from the 5 of Chris Jabou. Chris just, they were bouncing down that straightaway once again as they come off the corner. And then he's got the 42 and the 2 come together in front of him, sends him down to the apron around, brings the caution out. And back to 27th he goes. Long ways back.
Richard Beasley give up that 24th position, head down to pit road. I think he missed his pit entry. This is a tricky place. You could pull in either off of turn 2 or turn 4, and depending on where your pit stop is, you need to enter one spot or the other. And he went in the wrong spot. Now he's on the right end of pit road. I thought I saw the red lights blinking now, which means he entered a closed pit and he's going to end up longest line anyway, as he rolls all the way down to the front of the pit box, and now he jumps right in. Yeah, can drive through it.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting how it works here. I believe there's like 20 pits on each lane. It depends on where you qualify at, on where your pit box is, and if you don't get an eye on it, and sometimes you get confused if you're on the front stretch or the back. Turn 2 and turn 4 look the same at this racetrack. As long as you keep an eye on where that flag stand is, usually you can get it figured out pretty quick. But even the best of them make mistakes here sometimes, especially under green flag conditions. But here on the dirt, we haven't had a whole lot of green flag racing so far. We've had about 15 or 20 laps. I'm still excited, waiting for that 50, 60 lap run if they get it in here tonight. But we still got a long way to go. 66 laps left of this thing.
Yeah, so many of the races I've seen on this speedway have been like run 2 laps, see a crash, run 2 laps, see a crash. So actually, I think the green flag that we've seen so far is pretty telling of how good these drivers are. Randy Oakham, 5 laps down, is your dog. I guess, one of those things that I always find interesting is, can he make it all the way back to the lead lap with the cautions? We're working caution number 6 right now. When we get to caution 11, if he's still the lucky dog, which is possible, be interesting to see if Randy can get back to the lead lap here.
Yeah, and if the car, every time the caution comes out, that plays into his hand as well. And also another thing I'd like to see is how Beasley bounces back. We know he's got a fast car. Hopefully it's still fast. It's not tore up too much, but we know how good he is when he's up front. Right now he's back in 24th. He's got a long way to make up, but plenty of time to do it. So I'm interested to see how he plays out the rest of his race, and some of these other drivers that are catching on. And also some of these guys, they may be better off as the track starts to wear more and more. So the track state's going to play a role too.
Yeah, look at all these cars rolling around here, and as you would expect, just about everyone got some dings and dents. Jimmy Coleman looks pretty good, though he's been into somebody with the front end, and it's just a byproduct of this racing where you're running side by side, banging off each other, and that's what we love about dirt racing at Bristol. That's what it's all about. Pace truck in, going to turn it over to John Adams one more time. He drives away, and it is now the 81 running second. He's able to jump up there, and Josh Parker once again trying to see if he can wrestle away and get to the lead as they go through the bumps out into the fence. And who's it going to be? Shannon Wood taking advantage, jumping to second.
Yeah, Wood slid right up in there and took advantage of that open spot up in the second, right where he wants to be, ahead of Daniel Falkingham. That's somebody he won't have to worry about having to get around again as the caution comes out one more time. Looks like trouble for somebody. Looks like maybe Scott Stencil involved, and not Randy, but Eric Arnold, maybe? Yeah, I believe so. Let's go back and take a look.
Yeah, Ronald got a piece of that. Looks like Jack Coleman maybe got a piece of that, and some others.
Yeah,
Extra
Arnold.
activity is one of them was upside down over there, I think.
Yeah, Arnold was running a great line right there, and it looked like the 14 just come down and
Oh,
tagged him a little bit. We'll watch it again. Oh, look what happened. There's what it is. Somebody was stopped on the racetrack. Let's get a better look. Oh, yeah, the
on there. Todd
14.
went through the spin cycle over there.
The 14 got into Thomas O'Leary in the '08 right there, and it turns Thomas straight up into the fence in front of the 5. The 5 had nowhere to go, along with Chad Coleman again, getting caught up in something else. Randy Yoakum able to sneak through there later in the after everybody had done crashed out of the way. He kind of just moseys on through, which is not a bad idea. And it kind of makes you think, should I have just kind of hung out in the back, and waited for a while, maybe the last 40 laps to start moving up? Because, with a 120 lap race, you got to have some sort of strategy, and you don't know what these other guys are going to do. So it's tricky, and it's hard to just ride around like that. You want to get up there and race and have some fun. But also, you want to make some good points here for a track like this. If you can come out here with some good points, send you into next week, or even a win, it sets you up really nice for Talladega next week.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't know what the magic formula was. I rode around at one point in the first race, went into the pit, sped on pit road, got to end along his line, got all the way up to 10th, made my way to 6th, and got crashed in the final LCQ or the final green-white checker. So you almost can't hide from trouble here. You just really need the luck.
Yeah, you just kind of got to have a lot of luck on your side, basically. Add a little skill to a lot of luck, and usually you can do a pretty good job, which is not easy to do.
So, I wanted to take a moment and talk about North Carolina call 811 before you dig. I used to be a 911 operator in a previous life. I worked for Hunterdon County Communications, and one of the things that we did there was someone would call, need some help, and we would dispatch the right services. And the way that 811 works is not too dissimilar from that. Depending on what you have, you call and determine the type of service you need, and they'll send people out to mark the properties. They'll send surveys out to let you know when things are going to happen. It's a great service, and I think if you're doing any construction work, any work going on your street, your neighbor's looking for some help as to how to figure out where the utility lines or whatever, send them. nc811.org. Call before you dig. They're there to help. They're there to provide the service. They'll notify all the right utilities and make sure that they come out and do the marks before you do your work. It keeps you out of so much trouble when you have something going on your street. Pace truck turns left, going to give the field one more time to John Adams. He's got Wood to his outside. Good run for Adams. He breaks away cleanly. He's going to be clear, and it is going to be Josh Parker one more time, slotting into that second position. I think, Jerry, what Parker would like to see is not what we have, a yellow. He'd like to get some time and see if he can find a way to muscle his car past that number 81.
Yeah, 2 811 cars go around there. Tommy Ryan's one of them. That's going to put us under caution here for the 8th time tonight. We'll definitely go back and watch it. Happened a little bit further back.
Yeah, and again, I really did believe we were going to run into a handful of these things. No surprise, especially as the track gets slick. We'll watch a replay and see if we can figure out what happened here.
Oh yeah, Mike Kelly. It looks like Mike Kelly's a driver that you usually see up front in these races, and right here he's in a lot of traffic as you see him go into the corner. He's got the 30 of Brian Macklin behind him. Macklin gets into the back of him, and that's what puts him around right there in front of Joey Katina. And Tommy Ryan just kind of come to a stop on his bumper right there. I don't think a lot of damage there for Tommy, but definitely a lot of damage on Mike Kelly's machine now.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe Doy Woods didn't get a good corner. One of the challenges you have is somebody slows up in front of you, you see it slow up, the car behind you doesn't, and next thing you know, you get that cascade of accordion effect. And unfortunately for Mike Kelly, it's ends up against the turn two wall over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell you what, John Adams is just nailing these restarts. When you have this many cautions, you gotta have a good restart, and he's figured out how to maintain the lead before the caution comes back out, because he could have easily lose the lead with a bad restart, and then it's somebody else controlling these restarts. So he's gonna have to be consistent, and he has been for the most part. You see him make a few mistakes here. He's got a little damage on his machine, but he's been doing about everything all right, or everything perfectly. If he had a clean car, I'd say everything would be perfect. But
Yeah.
car's not so clean, but it does look good. And the 21's up front, which I just found out tonight about Ed, from what you told me. So, Ed, I hope you do get well, man. I had a lot of fun racing with him. I've turned a lot of laps with Ed. And it's good to see the 21 up front, and John Adams representing well tonight, and just good to see.
Yeah, I've been going to races all my life since I was a kid. My father raced, my brother raced, my nephew and brother currently race. We're going racing Friday night, first opener of the season. And,
Mm.
eh, you know, you go to the racetrack and you meet all these friendly people who are drivers, and some of them are winners, and some of them are there just for the sheer fun of it. And that's the sense
Yeah,
I get at Ed Burrell. He's here, logs in, gets behind the wheel, and just comes out and has a good time with a bunch of his sim racing buddies. And we're looking forward to him coming back to the track. And just kind of understated, but one of the guys is just always there, hanging
yeah,
around.
and I'm the same way. A lot of people are like that too. I would assume, but yeah, come out and hopefully win. But definitely just come out to have some fun. Gotta love racing, man. I just really enjoy it. So I always try to show up at least and have a little bit of fun, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah, I'm about just run by Christopher Williams sitting there currently in fifth. You can see his fuel tank back TV panel is off, but the car looks pretty stout right now, running in the top 10 as Kevin DeBrown sneaks down underneath him. Side by side battle for first. This time they are beating and banging. One more time, Adams is going to drive out from it. They're three wide for second. Here comes Kevin DeBrown in underneath.
Wow, that was an interesting start right there. Josh Parker tried to sneak up in there and take the lead early. John Adams maintains that lead. Kevin Brown benefits most out of it. As he moves up into that second spot. Now Daniel Falkingham fighting with him, trying to get it, and his caution's back out.
Boom, and around he goes. He's sitting on the inside over there on the backstretch, able to grab a gear and drive off, but that's going to put us under caution number 9 as they're just taking no quarter. And I think this might be a byproduct of the racetrack. We see how that moisture is gone and the track is just slicked off through the middle. It's so hard to hold control of the car.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's gonna get slicker. It's not gonna get any better. It's gonna get a lot slicker, and it's gonna be tough. But yeah, A11, man, we've talked a lot about it. So let's
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
yeah, and if anybody's doing any digging at my house, I'm gonna make sure that they've called the right people to make sure they ain't tearing nothing up. I know that. That's one thing I make sure. Is you never know what's under the ground there.
Yeah, you never know. My father was a bricklayer, and we did so many different jobs where you'd be there, and job would have to shut down. Somebody hit something, and it's just was a struggle back in those days. But nowadays, you just give the right phone call, and you can get all that stuff marked, and there's no reason not to give him a call. There goes Randy Okum around the outside. We were talking earlier about whether or not he'd get to that lead lap. I think he might be one under, or that's
You
going to put
took
him there.
you took the words right out of my mouth when I seen him pass the leader there. I said, "All right, yeah, he did it." Yeah, he's back on the lead lap now, or well, he's one lap down.
Lap down. One
So
to go.
yeah, he needs one more lap back. But he's gotten 3 out of the 4 that he needed so far, and he's missed a few accidents because he's just been kind of hanging out. So we'll see what he does after he gets back on the lead lap. But right now, he's just trying to be in position there to be the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap.
We're at lap number 75, and I have to wonder if there's some magic point when you look at the number of total laps that we have. We've obviously crossed over the halfway point, so 120 laps. When do you decide it's go time? These drivers, I think right now, are just really hunting for any position they can get. The track position so hard to come by that if somebody slips up in front of them, we saw a chain of events on that caution. I think might have started with the 81 getting sideways, getting into the wall, battling for the lead. And then it was feeding time at the zoo. And unfortunately, it was a 0-2 going around on that one.
Yeah, that's one way to put it there. Feeding time at the zoo. That's the first time I've heard that, actually.
Well, let's see what's going to happen this go around. As Kevin DeBrown has shown that he's got a pretty good car in that number 93 sitting there outside. And we have yet to determine whether there's an advantage to the inside or outside on these restarts. Wow, slow restart, but now he's going to drive away. You got to change up those restarts. That's how you're going to keep these guys honest. And here comes Falkingham to the bottom, but Adams is going to drive off with a commanding lead.
Yeah, Falkenham's not going to give up, though. He sends it back down in there. He's trying to go for a slide job here. Not clear. Has to keep it down. He's going to be out of the throttle. That's going to give John Adams that lead back. But Falkingham's just putting it all out there right now. This is his chance. If he could get around that 21. Oh, and he got around him right there. So if the caution comes out now, that's going to put that 21 back in, fourth right now. And he's 3 wide, the 81 of Josh. And there's the caution we was talking about. So Falkingham able to get the lead before the caution come back out. And that's exactly what Falkingham needed because they haven't been running a whole lot of laps before the caution pops. So it's going to work out great for Falkingham and not so great for our leader, our previous leader, John Adams. He's back in fourth and he'll be restarting outside of that second row.
And this changes everything. I'll tell you what, really, you could see the difference on how deep Falkingham was able to drive the car in down on the bottom. The car floated up in the middle of the center, and somehow he just squared it off and was able to drive off. And that is the reason we have a first-time leader change in this event. Second leader of the event, Daniel Falkingham, after Adams led the first 79 as... Boy, big contact there for a couple of cars up on the outside.
It's like Tommy Ryan and Scott Simley got together to bring out this one. As we go on board with Scott Simley, you can see Tommy kind of comes up, gives him a little tap right there. Simley held on to it for as long as he could and ends up going around himself, but he just does a little quick 360 and gets back at it. But that does bring out the caution again, and this time Falkingham with his restarts, that's going to be important for him, and it seems like he's did good on his first restarts, so they're going to have to figure a way to get around Daniel Falkingham. But look who's in second.
Yep, there he is.
Yeah, the 18 of Bentley Glazer. You was talking about him early.
There's Randy Yoakum around the outside.
And Randy gets his lap back. Yeah, back on the lead lap. So worked out good for a couple drivers there. I'm not surprised to see Bentley Glazer in that second spot. He's been working pretty hard. Started 17th in this race.
I really felt like these two would be the cream of the crop here. I thought it would be the opposite direction, but we'll see. And I have to say, going back to that replay, I want to know, and maybe we'll see if we can find Scott Simley and ask him this question. Was he saying "gosh darn it" or was he saying "wee"? See,
Yeah, he was
that's
saying one of the
inquiring
two.
minds want to know.
Yeah, maybe we could talk to him later. If he can get that thing at Victory Lane, we'll definitely talk to him. But he's got some work cut out for him for that. Kevin Brown doing a great job right now, running in third. And I've seen that car a lot in the top 10, top 5 for the most part. But here he is in third. He's going to be restarting inside the second row. But he's got John Adams to his outside on the restart. So there could be a battle going on there between them. And you know what John Adams is thinking? He wants to get back up front.
Yeah. And again, you got to just give a call to Chris Williams. He's running right there in that third position, and he's been right in the hunt. The best showing I think we've seen out of him all year long. Shows that he's got a little prowess here. You know, one of the wild cards in this is Kevin Brown. He's just a hard charger. I think if you wanted to pick two guys who, I want to say this with the most affection I can, have that kamikaze mentality, man. They're just wide open all the way around. It's Kevin DeBrown and it is EJ O'Rourke. And following Kevin running in third, I think things are going to get rather exciting as a pace shark ready to yield to Daniel Falkingham for this restart on lap 83.
Yeah, and Chris Williams, as you was talking about just a second ago, he's restarting inside the third row here. He started back in 28th. He's up to 5th. So he's moving up through the field. Hard Charger award maybe for him by the time this thing's over. Right now it's looking good for him as the 21 of John Adams trying to make a move on the 09. Chris Williams is who we was talking about. Just couldn't do it that time, and the caution's back out again. Doy Woods involved.
Yeah, a little frustration for some of these guys as Doy Woods probably got a little help there, it looks like. Maybe from EJ?
It'd be EJ or Beasley.
No,
Let's see.
can't pin that one on EJ.
Oh no, he got up into the 30 of Macklin.
Macklin.
Yeah, Macklin come down, he come up. They kind of merged together right there, and it sends the guy on the inside around every time. It seems like that happens. The guy on the inside loses.
Yeah.
We'll go on board with him one time just to watch what it's like, and it's you don't even see it coming. And sometimes that'll happen, especially here at Bristol Dirt. The car on the outside, he'll cut down off the corner, and he's not doing it intentionally. He's just getting a little bit too loose on the exit of the corner, and it's pointing him in that direction, and he's carrying that momentum off of the corner, and it brings him right down the racetrack into the middle lane, and that's where the guy on the bottom is going to be running at. So just one little tap right there sends him around. Woods back in 25th now after that caution coming out. Same thing going on up front as last time. Daniel Falkingham, your leader. Bentley Glazer in second. Kevin Brown in third. And the guy I was talking about as the restart was going on there started 28th and is up to 4th. Chris Williams. And then the one that's led 77 laps in this race, the 21 of John Adams, back in 5th. Josh Parker's sitting in 6th right now. He started in 5th, so he's been running about where he's started at. Byron Daly started 16th, up to 7th. Trey Eitzen, 22nd's where he started. He's up to 8th, so he's picked up a few spots. Tyler Dalton started in 12th. He's running 9th, so he's doing better than where he started at. And then Macklin, he's been involved in a few things. I've said that name a few times under these instant replays. And Macklin started back in 20th. He's still doing better. So he's up in 10th. And Beasley, we've talked about him a lot. He's got EJ O'Rourke right behind him. But Beasley started outside the pole for this one. And he's fell back to 11th. So he's got a lot of ground to make up if he wants to maintain his starting spot. Which right now, currently, Bentley Glazer's sitting in that P2 spot. So interesting to see how Glazer's going to do. He's got a fast lap of 20.5 The fastest lap for Daniel Falkingham is a 19.7, and Kevin Brown a 19.9. So he's not ran the fastest laps, but he still finds himself in second.
We got a moment here. The lights are on the truck, so I think I'm going to try and see if I could dial in the radio. John Adams, Kevin England up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Kevin?
Hey, doing all right. You had a spectacular start to this race. Got a little ding, got a little banged. You're running back there in 5th position. You got what it takes to get back up there?
I have no idea, to be honest with you, Kevin. I don't ever race dirt, and I was surprised I got the pole and held the front as long as I did. This is just outrageous, man. The track is just unpredictable right now, so I don't know. I mean, I'm going to try to, but I don't think so.
Yeah, we just wanted to say you're having a good run. We're keeping an eye on you, and we're wishing the best for you. Maybe we'll get to talk to you a little bit later. See, the lights are out on the pace truck, so we'll put you back in your office. Thanks for taking a moment to chat with us.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Kevin. This one's for Ed.
There you go.
That's right. This one's for Ed. I hope Ed's watching back there, man, because he's definitely, I know if he had my name on there, I'd be proud of him. All right, green flag's back out. Daniel Falkingham with a good start, as well as Bentley Glazer. Kevin Brown, Josh Parker, and Chris Williams kind of stacked up on each other right now as the 81 of Parker all over the back bumper of Kevin Brown. Well, no telling what's going on behind them, but I bet they're stacked up. Let's take a look a little bit further back.
Ooh, big contact right there in the middle. The 9 of Christopher Williams is around. He got tagged.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately, and he's going to spin one more time. Comes to a rest over there at the entry to pit road. And they're still mixing it up. Dory Woods getting a little contact there, trying to evade.
Yeah, I hate to hear that when you said it was Chris Williams involved. We was talking about him quite a bit there in the last few minutes. Let's go back and take a look at it and see what happened to him. But yeah, he's the driver I was talking about. He started back in 28th, was up to 4th. So let's go see what happened here.
Got Dory Woods sitting backwards in the racetrack over there. Yep, he's going to call too.
So he got a little squirrely right there, and then he come together with John Adams. We just talked to him, and that's why I don't like talking to him, man. It seems like it curses him every time, and he's around. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it sure does feel like that. Anytime I talk to anybody that's out there under caution, it seems like it gives them that broadcaster's curse or whatever you call it, but I hate to see it for him. So I thought he had, his car might be a little bit banged up, but I still feel like he's got what it takes to win this thing. We got a new leader up front, Kevin. Let's go back and find out.
We were calling the action for that crash. Bentley Glazer got a good drive up off the corner, was down underneath Falkingham, and as soon as he got a nose ahead, yellow came out, crossed the scoring loop ahead of Daniel. Daniel actually pulled around him thinking he had the lead, but I think scoring and timing is going to show us that we are with leader number 3 on the evening, the Mountain Dew number 18 of Bentley Glazer now calling the shots.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because we haven't seen a lot of passes made on the bottom, and as we went back to watch to see how Glazer made that pass on Falkingham. Look at it. He did it on the bottom of the racetrack there, and he wasn't out front for long or by much, but it was just enough to give him that lead. So one thing that's going to do is put some pressure on Bentley Glazer. He's going to have to he's going to be in control of the restarts now. He's not had to restart yet out front from the number 1 spot. So interested to see if he's going to make any mistakes or nail it or how it works out for him. But wish him luck in his restarts here. He's going to need them with Falkingham behind him and Kevin Brown, Josh Parker, Byron Daly's your top 5.
What do we need to do to get rid of that broadcaster curse when we talk to somebody and they do we need like a voodoo doll or something? I don't understand what.
I don't think it's possible. It's just very unfortunate that it happens, and it's always been like that, and I don't think there's anything you can do about it. I really don't think so, but one driver we haven't talked about a lot, Kevin, is the 7 at Eitzen, man. Trey Eitzen started back in 22nd. He's up to 6th. Seems like he's been kind of quiet. He does got a little bit of damage on his car, but I believe everybody has a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think there's anybody that's clean at this point. And Edson, he didn't run very well in the heat races and such. But he's one of those drivers that we had talked about. Maybe they just figure it out and,
yeah.
Find a way to get it done. And, well, do you see who's sitting inside of him? Running in 7th.
Oh, Beasley back up there in that 10 car,
back
huh?
in the top 10, quietly sneaking up there.
Yeah, and his car don't look too bad either. A lot of dirt on these cars, so it's kind of hard to tell who's who. But yeah, good to see him back up there as the green flag comes back out. A little trouble for the second row on the restart there. Those two drivers came together, and that's going to stack them up. Oh, Josh Parker into Beasley. Beasley hangs on to it. Oh my goodness, John Adams hard into the fence.
Tell you what, I'm going to say it out loud, and unfortunately, I don't think anybody's going to disagree with me. Parker has just been a battering ram tonight.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And for his,
not seem to have a handle on that car, but yet he keeps somehow keeping it straight.
As much stuff that's happened with John here in the recent laps, his car doesn't look as bad as it probably should, especially with how hard he hit the inside wall or the outside wall there. Let's go back and watch it on this replay. Here's the restart, and you see him stack up in front of John. He got into the 33 coming around the corner to put him around, and then as he comes off the corner up into the fence there, collects the 0-2 as well. Shannon Wood. Look at the cars. Look like a junkyard a little bit down there. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 cars.
Over there. The pinball machine would have tilted there. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. And with 20 laps remaining, I would want to be in the 18 car because, he's out front. He's in control of the restarts. He gets to start this thing off as he wants to start it. And you don't have to worry about nobody in front of him, no dirt on his windshield, any of that stuff. And he don't have many laps left to control this thing, and he can walk away with the win. So one thing he's got to worry about, though, is that 39 of Daniel Faulkingham. We know how fast he is all the time, man. Week in and week out, he's up front winning races. I mean, I was running with him when he won his 100th race for Sim 500, which is a outstanding accomplishment to have. Win 100 races in this league, man. These guys are really fast, so he's definitely got his work cut out for him if he wants to stay out in front of Faulkingham. And then you got all these other guys behind him, so fortunately for Parker and Beasley, they're going to be restarting 5th and 6th on this one. And Chris Williams, which caught up in a little bit earlier when he was running 4th, he's back up to 7th. Dave Comstock, man, he's been quiet. We haven't really talked too much about the 13, but here he is. He's in the top 10 after starting 18th. He don't have a front end on his car, but points is really all this is about. Is coming out here with a good points run, and right now 9th. I'd say Comstock's pretty happy with that.
Yeah, you can't count anybody out at this point. As much as we've seen things come and things go during this race, there's still the opportunity for plenty of things to happen. But now within 20 to go, it's almost like a short track feature on a Saturday night. These drivers, I believe, are going to be more up on the wheel, and it presents the biggest challenge. We know how slick this racetrack is. All the moisture's out of it, and it's slick as a button. I don't want to use the description somebody was talking about earlier. It's not rated G here, but I can't emphasize how complicated it is to get the car through the corner, and especially from the center off, drive it out. And that little slippery patch over there in turn number 2 is going to befuddle these guys right to the end of the race. We're going to see Glazer to the outside takes off. He gets a good start. He's going to head off to turn number 1, side by side for second, with Faulkingham driving down the low lane. Here comes the outside lane charge from the number 7 of Trey Edson, going to solidly put himself in that 3rd position as Faulkingham drives down under Glazer. Glazer going to get a good run and he's going to come across the stripe to complete lap 104.
Yeah, well, we talked to John. I mean, he led 77 laps, and you heard what he said. He said this track is unpredictable. So coming from somebody that's been out front the entire time, pretty much tells you, with the track being unpredictable, I mean, there's a lot of other things that go with that. So we definitely don't need the track being unpredictable. Caution is back out. Caution number, you know what caution number we're on? Number
14.
14.
By my count.
All right. So not sure who was
20
involved.
in the ticker. I figured we'd get to 20 before this was said and done, and I'm not too far from it.
No, not too bad. All right, let's take a look at the replay here. Looks like it's gonna be the 0-2 of Shannon Wood involved. Not sure if he had anything to do with it, but he was definitely involved. So we'll take our first look with Shannon. Oh, he got involved because the 49 come up, so it definitely wasn't him. We'll have to take another look at it.
The Jose around and a couple others out in front of him with Randy
Macklin.
Yoakum sitting backwards. Macklin
Oh,
back
there it
in
went. Yeah,
bumpers.
the 31 and the 30 got together right
There you
there.
go.
Like Macklin may have got a little loose in the corner, but the 31 was carrying a lot of speed through there. The 49 just had nowhere to go, comes up the track, ends up catching up with I couldn't remember who it was, but yeah, just unfortunate right there.
Yeah, Arnold and Macklin were the ones. You know, it's one of those things where as soon as you step on the brake, the car stops turning. It just completely plows. So even if you wanted to get on the brake and see if you can, on dirt, it does not turn.
Yeah, and during the pro race, you know, they had a few cautions in that one as well, as you might guess, but it was a very good finish actually, and I can't believe how good they actually did, to be honest with you, because the end of that race was pretty good. It was really bouncy, which we're seeing here. We hadn't had a whole lot of green flag laps to consider that, but it is getting a little bouncy out there. We've had 67 laps under yellow.
Yeah, I remember at one point they had a shot of Conti's car rolling through those bounces, and his car was in the air. That's how much they were getting off as he was coming off the corner. Now, the curious thing here is, where do these guys search for grip? We know that Falkingham is trying to see what he can get, and you know, you see some of these drivers right now. I'm watching at least the 81 of Josh Parker. When they roll around the corner, they go up into the crumbs. You know why they do that?
Gain a little ground. I mean, a little traction.
They are looking
Keep
to
it from
cool their
sliding.
tires off in the cool
Oh, yeah.
mud on the top. And I have no idea whether that's actually in the dynamic of the game. Now I see Josh Parker down there on the apron rolling around. But I noticed in the pro race some of the drivers doing some of that too. I don't know. I don't
Yeah, I
know
don't
if
know
the
if
tires
they've
heat up and
implemented
it
it.
actually pulls them off. It gives them better traction or not.
It all comes down to if they implemented it into the cup cars, the tire model and all that good stuff. I'm not sure if they have. I know the dirt side, those tires they didn't, but this is a totally different model here, so I'm not really sure how it works.
I come from the land of dirt modifieds, and you know, 358s and Billy Pouch and Brett Hearn and Stuart Friesen and those guys. The cars in the sim drive so much different from these, from the late models, from the trucks even on dirt. And yeah, just you need to adapt a new style as we go green one more time. Laser to the outside. Here comes Falkingham to the bottom. They're almost 3 wide for third. Parker going to drive around the 7 of Edson.
Yeah, with 10 laps to go.
High line.
A great start by Bentley Glazer, I might add. I mean, with 10 laps to go, that's exactly what he needed here. Unfortunately for him, with a huge lead over Falkingham, he's going to have to slow it back down with the caution coming back out. But man, it looked like he had his momentum built up and his rhythm. He was in rhythm and he was ready to seal this deal tonight. But he's going to have to give it another shot here, and hopefully he can get another good restart. And I did notice on that restart that he chose the outside, which is a great decision in my opinion.
I agree with you because when you get on the gas coming out of those bumps and you're up to the high side, I believe that's the right way to go as we get to the Milner Media and Design Instant Replay. We'll see where this trouble came about.
And the 19 of Tyler Dalton and the 12 of Scott Simley is going to be the reason for caution number 15 here at Bristol. Oh, just barely happened, you know.
It has been an eventful night for Scott Simley.
Yeah, he's stuck in there, though. He's hanging in there. He's doing all he can. No front end on his car.
He was just being respectful there, trying not to get into the car in front of him, unfortunately. And, you know, again, one of those speed differentials.
And this thing's almost over. So a lot of guys, they're ready to wrap this thing up. And then there's somebody like Daniel Falkingham that's ready to take the lead. So I'm sure he's got a lot of adrenaline running through him, and he's trying to make a decision on where he's going to make a pass if he does. But a lot of those decisions that you make under green like that are going to be split-second decisions. First, he's got to catch him. Then he's got to figure out where he's going to pass him or how. Or if he makes a mistake, he's got to make that decision, a split-second decision there to avoid him and get around him. So we might see a slide job like we did last night in the NASCAR race. We might just see it go green, and if it does anything like it did on that last restart, Glazer had a great restart last time, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I'll just give him this nickname for this race. Dozer still back there in fourth, Josh Parker. So you're right, we might see something different. You know, one of the things that I'll say, just another cheeky little tidbit from racing with these guys, they had a practice session for this, Jerry, and I remember saying out loud, and Daniel Falkingham happened to be in the Discord channel, that, boy, Bentley Glazer's got this place figured out. Daniel gave one of those kind of things. Now the two of them are scrapping for the win here, and I find it ironic that, could come down
interesting.
to this.
Yeah, it's definitely going to come down to one of those two. Or if they get together, Byron Daly, Josh Parker, or Trey Edson will move up in there and take it from them more and quick as they could, you know. So 5 to go right now. So this it's coming down to the end. Not going to be many laps left, especially if the caution comes back out. Then we might have a green, white checker finish or two.
Yeah, one thing we didn't say, if it's not evident at the end of the race, they have no fast repair, so any damage that they get is just going to be something they're going to live with. And I'm not sure how many green, white checkers they said. I think it's probably 2, but we're getting ready to go to green, and this is going to settle it. And now we're going to find out if Daniel Falkingham can find that drive down into the corner that he had earlier and sneak away with a win here as Bentley Glazer in control of this race. Everybody tucked up really tight. And whatever the outcome, how about Beasley back to 6, going to rescue the top 10 after his eventful night. They tear the grandstands down if he's going to win this thing. Pace truck goes left. Glazer stomps on the gas. He's down and away, and he's cleared him through the bumps.
He got that thing wound up on that start there, and it sounded like he's shifting. Of course he is. These things got 5 gears in them, and Falkingham's going to have to figure something out here to make that pass. He's running out of time. 3 to go at the line. It'll be 2 laps to go. So things are heated up. They got a nice little lead over third place, Byron Daly, though, right now. So it's down to these 2 drivers if it stays green.
Down the bottom. He's almost to the door, to the core panel. They go through the bumps, roll into the corner. Falkingham down low, looking for whatever moisture and speed he can carry through the corner. Glazer, smooth as could be, up to the high side around the bumps. They come across the stripe to complete the lap.
And
they are going to go into caution. Green, white checker. 1 of 2 is they're going to collect the pace car over there.
Yeah, and that's not what neither one of those drivers wanted to see. Falkingham was in the middle of setting him up there to make the pass. He was getting a little rhythm built up, had his momentum, and it would have happened in the next lap, but caution's going to stop all that. Let's go see what the caution's for.
Yeah, maybe EJ O'Rourke with a little trouble there. I'm not sure if he got into the wall. And
yeah, it looked like EJ and the 42 got together. EJ just couldn't get that thing sideways there, and he come up right into Stenzel, and
Yeah, but I think actually that happened.
wasn't the caution, no. That wasn't the caution. Let's see if we can.
Yeah, it was EJ, but involved with drum roll Scott Simley.
Oh, really? Simley again?
Yeah, go back a
Simley.
little bit further, and Simley unfortunately caught EJ, who was sideways, and once again, that Mobile Oil car just not had a good night.
Oh yeah, getting caught on the. That happened to him earlier, actually. It's gonna be the second time that's happened to Scott, if not more, actually. Yeah, that's unfortunate, especially for the guys up front racing for the win. Something simple like that, and it's just so easy to get these cars to go around. And it's apparent by looking at that, just the littlest bit of contact brings that caution out because the car goes around. Well, Glazer's going to need a good restart. He's done it a couple times here so far. He's got to do it again.
I'm sure Daniel Falkingham's been kind of just keeping pace as to what type of restarts they've had. That one, as soon as the pace truck hit pit road, Glazer was gone, stepped on it, didn't snooker him too much, and now he's going to have to change it as it just send a little message out there, zooms to the outside of him. I'm here, and I want this win. Falkingham's like a unicorn sometimes. No matter where you go, doesn't matter what type of track, short track, road course, whatever it is, he's going to be fast. He's going to be in the hunt for the win.
I agree.
And here he is again on dirt, just challenging for this. But Bentley Glazer, I'm telling you, had a good car all through the weeks leading up to this. Does not have a win in the win column this season, and he needs one of them to get to the championship run. So tonight could be his night.
Yeah, and Daniel, you know, like you said, he hasn't been no lower than fourth here in this race. So he hasn't seen fifth place or worse. He's been in the top four spots the entire time. All right, they're going to double it up.
Go a little intimidation there. You see him squeeze to the outside. Now he runs right up to the door of Glazer. Just going to hold him high here, coming through the corner to the start. I'm Glazer. I'm going to turn left and door him.
Here we go. Falkingham and Glazer. Glazer with the control of the restart. Daly and Edson on the second row. Comstock and Brown in row number 3. And a great start there by the 18. That's exactly what he needs. Next time he crosses.
Number 1.
And they're wrecking all over the place.
We're going to go to number 2.
They couldn't control themselves this time. They knew it was coming down to the end, so they piled it up, I believe. I heard them. I'm not sure where it started at.
Yeah, so this is caution number 17 by my count. Might be 18, might have missed one, I don't know. But this is going to be the last one, of course. Green, white, checker to the end. I want to go back and just talk about that restart a little bit. I think Falkingham probably is happy to have this occur because he pulled up to Glazer, and when they were coming, he tried to anticipate the start, jumped out, got out in front of him, had to let off at the same time that Glazer was able to jump out. I think Glazer was going to drive away from him. Now he gets to play it all over again, and I'm wondering what else is going to happen. As you could see the instant replay, Tyler Dalton crunching, crashing over there.
Yeah, Simley ended up getting caught in that one too. Oh, he got into the 31, yeah, and it sent him sideways in front of everybody. EJ and the whole field. Macklin, he didn't get a bad end of it, but he did get some contact there. But yeah, a lot of cars caught up in that one.
Yeah, Jose Gonzalez, he's seen quite a bit of extracurricular activity. He'll be happy to get out of this place.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of them are ready. They're already thinking about what they're going to do after this race, whether it be go to bed or something else. But yeah, they're ready for this to be over. And one person I know wants it to be over is that leader in the 18. But Falkingham, he's not ready for this thing to be over. He wants another shot at it. He's going to get another shot at it.
Yep. Why is Randy Yoakum sitting there behind the pace car? What did I miss?
I'm not for sure, but I believe he went around and the pace car passed him, and now he's stuck behind the pace car, and they're going to put him back on the lead lap at the at the one to go. So he lost a lap somehow in that.
Yeah, when he pulled out, no, he just slowed on the racetrack. And now he's stuck behind the pace car. If you stop on this racetrack and the pace truck goes by you, you're stuck there. And when the time comes that the lights go out, they don't let you do a drive around.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll have a car sideways on the track and they'll wait respectfully for everybody else to go by, and then it'll end up happening to them. And so sometimes guys won't be very respectful. They'll just pull right back up because they don't want to go a lap down. So a lot of times that becomes an issue. So it happened to him. Fortunately, he'll get his lap back, but he'll be starting dead last back there.
Yeah, my guess is he'll be able to drive around, and if he gets a black flag for doing it, they'll be able to clear that off. But I'm happy to see that he's not going to be there. And as the cars roll down the back stretch, this is it. Greenway checker number 2. Whatever the next flag is going to be, whoever's out front is going to be the winner here. It's the pace truck just about to turn in. And this is it.
Yeah, and he's going to choose the outside on the restart one more time. You don't want to change anything up. And here we go. Green flag back out for the final time at Bristol.
Great restart for Glazer. He's out in front. He's got a car length going into the corner, and here he comes off. He's got a half car length advantage as they go through the bumps. Falkingham going to drive down low, see if he can get to it. Yellow is out.
Oh.
They're going to make a smidge of contact, and then they're going to ease out. It'll be Glazer coming across to pull the win.
Yeah, is that officially it? Or, yeah, that's it.
That's officially it. The
That's
race is over. They'll collect the pace car, come back, and it is going to be Bentley Glazer pulling down the win here. First Sim 500 NC811 call before you dig cup race on the dirt goes to Bentley Glazer, holding off Daniel Falkingham.
Yeah, great job by Bentley having to control those restarts and hold off Falkingham the entire time. There was a few cars out here tonight that I thought could have won this thing, so hats off to him for being able to get it done. We will go back real quick and watch that last accident there that brought out the caution, and hopefully we can find it.
Yeah,
hopefully it was worth it, right?
Yeah. Let's see what's going to happen here.
Oh, it looks like Brian Macklin involved in it. Oh yeah, the 21 of John Adams makes a little contact with him, sends him down to the bottom, and that shouldn't have brought the caution out, but unfortunately on iRacing, that's how the thing goes sometimes. Even though he's down and out of the way, it'll still throw that caution just for safety reasons. But hey, congratulations to Bentley Glazer for his win here. He led 42 laps, started 17th, fell back to 32nd position, and here he is in victory lane. So great job by him.
Yeah, he's doing some donuts over there, just trying to dodge all the other cars who are going around to find their road. And I feel a little like Babe Ruth calling the shot. Good for Bentley to keep me honest there. We'll be back with your top 3 interviews after a short little break, and I have to say this was a blast. I had a lot of fun watching this event for it.
It was wild. 18 cautions, a lot of accidents. If you like watching accidents, and I do, I mean, I don't like them all the time, but I love it on dirt, man. These guys beating and banging out there, and there's only one winner tonight, and tonight is Bentley Glazer, and I had a lot of fun. So yeah, we'll be right back for your post-race interview. We'll talk to Bentley Glazer, your winner for tonight's race, in just a second.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere. And knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
Welcome back to the NC 811 Call Before You Dig. Sim 500 Esports Cup Series. We're at Bristol Motor Speedway with the post-race show, and we'll look to see if we can get our top three. We'll start with third place, Trey Edson. Trey, eventful night, but a third place finish. Did you expect that outcome here tonight?
No, I didn't even expect to make the race. So third will be acceptable. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing wrong. I didn't really get to practice it a lot, and then I was terrible on restarts for whatever reason. I was probably in the wrong gear, but I just couldn't roll with. It didn't really matter who was leading or anyone who was around me. I just got yanked. But yeah, I'll take it. Don't really know what I was doing. Just hitting everything, and everyone hit me, and I was hitting them back, and we were sliding all around. So it was I don't think anyone's really mad at each other. It's like we all were just like, whatever, you get in there to know what to expect. It's kind of like when you go to, like next week when we go to Talladega, like you're probably going to get in a wreck. So just kind of head in there knowing things are going to happen.
It was an eventful night, but talk about the race surface, how it changed the dynamic across the event, 120 laps.
You had like the rough stuff. I don't run dirt, so this is going to be something. And then you had like the slimy, bright, shiny stuff. You wanted to avoid the shiny stuff, from what I could figure out. But up against the wall seemed to be pretty dominant. On the restarts, you could make make a move on the bottom of 1 and 2 on a restart, but you had to like clear yourself up before you got to 3. And there was a few times I was probably a little hesitant, and probably took care of some people instead of just clearing myself and killing everyone. So it probably cost me a few spots, but it worked out. The middle was dead. It was pretty slimy, I guess is the word they were using this weekend. So yeah, it was just kind of reminded me of Eldora. You just kind of run up against the wall and hope somebody in front of you screws up whenever we did get more than a lap of green flag.
You must have heard this phrase before: asphalt's for getting there, dirt is for racing, or whatever. But I have to believe you're in the camp of dirt is for planting fields.
Driving, I'm just not very good at it. I don't hate it. I don't follow it in real life. Just because there's a ton of it, so I don't really know. I watch the Chili Bowl every year. I love every bit of that from start to finish. But I'll go to the World of Outlaw stuff when it's in Charlotte. But I don't follow it. Don't know enough about it. So I'm not anti-dirt racing. I'm just not very good at it, especially in this kind of car that's designed for asphalt.
Could have fooled us. Jerry, you any questions for Trey?
Yeah, Trey, you started back in 22nd, and your car looks pretty nice out there. A little better than a lot of the other ones, I'd say. You got a little bit of damage on it. What was your main strategy for being able to cut through the field like you did, and early in the race versus late in the race?
There really wasn't a strategy. It was just go where they ain't, and then try not to hit any of the spinning cars in front of me. I wish I could have brought the car that I ran the Constellation with, because I got wrecked in that. But for whatever reason, whatever kind of damage I had or engine damage I had, it was hauling like down the straightaways. Like it wasn't spinning the tires, and digging into the ruts and sounding like a damn monster truck going in the front stretch. So I wish I could have just brought that damage into the main, because I couldn't replicate it no matter how many things I hit. For the one race in my iRacing career that I have damaged, I kept full 2,000 RPM the entire time. So yeah, usually I can barely scrape a blade of grass and I lose half my engine. But yeah, there was no strategy, just try to roll the top on the restarts and survive the calamity.
Absolutely, man. Well, coming from Martinsville, headed here, and then to Talladega, you got 3 in a row, and tonight you seem to come out of here with a little bit of points, which is going to be the whole reason for coming. And congratulations on your third place finish.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we put up a stinker last week, and this was probably another stinker, so hopefully Talladega can go a little bit smoother. I do need to thank Scott Stenzel and Personal Comfort, personalcomfort.com. Great bed, great value. Check it out. Scott's a hardworking dude, trying to get his brand out there and growing. So everything I've read about him and people that have given reviews, it's top notch. So check it out.
There you go. Trey Edson finishes third, and I saw Personal Comfort on Kyle Tarasca's car for this year. I thought that was kind of cool. Turned to second place, Daniel Falkingham. Daniel, you picked up the lead there for a period of time, and then Bentley was able to get around you. You led 15 laps. What did you need at the end? I know there were so many cautions, but you seemed to have so much speed in that number 39 tonight.
Yeah, I was definitely worried to see how I was going to perform because I am no dirt racer. I don't do a lot of it, but definitely had to prep a little bit coming into tonight. And thankfully, we ran top 5 the whole race, so I'm very proud of that. But I'm definitely never going to forgive myself. I'm not going to forgive myself for a while for how I freaking gave up the lead like that. Just, I don't know what else I could have done. Like, I don't know, just try to run top, running bottom. Felt like I could make any lane work, but for a reason, friggin' Bentley getting that epic drive off the corner when he passed me. I was going to get back around him, I think, and then the stupid caution came out, and then I think it was curtains from there. But shout out to Bentley. He was so good through all the practice races we did, and came out on top from the back for wherever the frig he started. So hats off to him on the win. But I'm very disappointed in myself. I gave up the lead like I did, because if we wouldn't have gave up that lead, and with how the end of the race was, we probably could have hung on and won that thing. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely a new experiment, definitely something new to learn, especially on a car that's definitely not meant for dirt, for the next gen stuff. But it was definitely an interesting experience. Can't really say I had a lot of fun because we had so many cautions, but it was definitely a new experiment to learn. So yeah, it was something else.
Yeah, and imagine when you go back and watch a replay of this, you'll see that there was a lot of extracurricular, and you probably had more fun than some of the other guys. But second place finish, I know that some drivers think second sucks, but first time on dirt, you got to be happy with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we got the wins in the back. We got the wins in the back pocket, and we got the points as well, which is really good too. Especially going into Monster Track next week. I mean, heck, I'm looking forward to Dega. I love the cup package we have on the super speedways. So we're gonna have a lot of fun next week. It's gonna be a really awesome race. It's gonna be much better than what we've had the last 2 weeks. It definitely feels good to come back after the friggin' bull crowd that went down last week. But for sure, looking forward to getting to Talladega.
Started third, lowest fourth, finished second. How about it, Jerry? Got any questions for Daniel?
Yeah, man, I got one really difficult question to answer. It's kind of hard to predict, but man, you was all over him there with the couple cautions before the end of this thing. You was getting ready to set him up to make the pass on him, and the caution came out. It's got to be frustrating, but where was you actually gonna make that pass, and what was going through your mind as you was getting closer and closer to his bumper?
Yeah, the few laps before we got into 10 to go, I just tried rolling the bottom because I felt like I don't know, for whatever reason, I just cannot run the top. For whatever reason, like every time I try to run the top, I either lose the front end and go straight into the wall and get stuck to it like I did like 3 or 4 times this race, or I hit it. There's like a weird slick spot in the bump, or a little bump or a slick spot at the top of turn 2, where if you hit it, you instantly spin around. So yeah. I just tried to keep rolling the bottom. I was hoping maybe if we had more laps than what we had tonight, maybe the top, or if we had more green flag racing, the bottom probably could have been the more dominant line at the end of the race there, and hopefully the top could have got worn off a little bit more. because I couldn't
Yeah.
run the top. So, but that bottom I think was starting to come in before that first green white checkered, when we were about to take the white there. I kept rolling that bottom, and I bet if I kept rolling it just right, I think I could have given myself half a chance. And I was gonna try something, because I mean I'm not just gonna sit in line and run second, but try to pull my own Chase Briscoe, but hopefully without wrecking the guy. But I was gonna try something, but once we got those late restarts, pretty much I did not need that first caution, that first GWC, because with the
Yeah.
GWCs I just instantly lost all the ground I made up on the restarts, because the top line is so dominant on restarts. So and that was probably my downfall too. I probably didn't play the restarts down, couldn't get the gap like I wanted to on those restarts. So definitely learned a lot for sure if we ever do this again. But yeah, just if I didn't have those cautions at the end, that bottom could come in a little bit more. I could have maybe had half a shot.
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate how you lost the lead there. Had the caution not come out when it came out, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have been able to. He wouldn't have been scored as the leader. You would have came back around him, and you would have had that lead, and then you would have been in control of the restarts, and yeah, you would have been in the top line, and everything would have ended maybe differently. Like I said, you don't know what ifs, but hey, man, great job out there being able to keep it in the top five, actually the top four all night. With only 35 laps of green flag racing out there, it's not a whole lot of time to get anything done. So,
Man, 35 laps of green flag racing, that was it.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it was a good experiment, but I don't foresee us doing this next year. But hey, we'll see.
Yeah, man. Hey, great job out there, and good points day for you. So, anybody we can shout out to?
Oh yeah, of course. Got to thank January 31st for Sorry Bailoff 207 for all their support each and every week. Also got to thank all the admins that run the show here, Joey and all the admins. Got to thank you guys put on the broadcast coming in last minute with LSR TV's downfalls tonight. Appreciate you guys stepping up. I got to thank NC811 for all they do for the series, for sponsoring the series. I got to thank everyone who races each and every week. Shout out again to Bentley on the race win tonight. Like I said, he stomped all of us all week, so he definitely deserved it. I got to thank all my teammates. Team name Team name Chad Coleman, David Comstock, Richard Beasley, Josh Parker, Doyle Woods, Byron Daly, and anyone else I'm forgetting, Kevin Brown. Got to thank all my real team at North Force Racing, Presley Kilson, the whole crew over there. Tyler, Daniel, Dylan, David, and Parker, all my teammates over there. Got to thank SRD Setups as well. And thanks to all the fans who watch these every week. And thanks to all the fans. Yeah, thanks to friends and family for all their support. And also want to give a shout out to Ed Burrell. I know he's been out for a few weeks now, and we're hoping we wish him to get back to the racetrack here soon.
Hey, man, congratulations. You come in with a 21-point lead, and you're going to extend that going into Talladega next week. A little momentum on your side as well. Of course, you didn't get to win, but you get to finish in that second spot, which is better than third, right? So good luck to you next week, man, and good job tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We're going to go have some fun next week. I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely. There he is, Daniel Falkingham. Started third, only fell back to fourth tonight, led 13 laps, finished second.
2 wins on the season so far this year, finishes second, and we'll turn now to the guy who bested him tonight. Bentley, I ran around you in practice race and watched you go by me, and I opened the show with, I think you're going to win it tonight, and darn it, you didn't. Good for you.
Yeah, thanks, man. My heart was beating. It was a tough race. I was surprised it was only 35 laps green, like you said. It felt like more, but
yeah,
it went better than Martinsville, I
think. I don't know. It seemed like there was more green flag racing. There was a pretty decent stint somewhere in the middle, but take us through how your race evolved. I know you didn't get through the qualifying and started pretty deep in the pack. How did you pick your way through and get yourself to the position of coming over and taking the lead there?
I knew the bottom was good, when the track was fresh, so I was trying to. There's a lot of traffic down low, and I was trying to stay high. And then I think it was Scott Stencil. He checked up a little bit, and I just hit him. I spun him, and spun myself. So got that caution, and went back to the field, and then that's when we had our couple green runs. So I was able to make the bottom work and just avoid carnage up when people got in the wall and stuff. So slowly my way up, and then like you guys said, yeah, I think Daniel would have got past me because I drove it in too hard. Once I got inside him, I got so sideways that I lost all momentum and then caution saved me. So yeah, I'm just excited. I won one of these. I probably won't win another one. I know these guys are amazing on asphalt. Their ratings are insane, and just they're good drivers. So yeah, I put some practice in this one because I thought maybe I had a chance. Because I know a lot of them aren't dirt specialists, so neither am I. I just put laps into it.
Well, you picked up the lead on lap 94 and you never yielded. And some of those restarts, when you go back, you're going to pat yourself on the back on that one. Jerry, you want to give a shout out here to Bentley?
Oh yeah, Bentley, man. I tell you what, started 17th, man. You drove up there. We seen you hit the top 5. You got caught up in some stuff and fell all the way back to 32nd. And here you had to come all the way back up through the field, man. I know you had some frustration with that happening, but tell us, what was you thinking when that happened, and what was your strategy on getting back through the field cleanly enough to have a good car to be able to win this thing?
Well, I don't know. I just screwed up and then got back there, but just hanging on the bottom, everybody's kind of overdriving the corner, and I was able to hook it and get back around there. So then on those restarts, Daniel, he was coming and he was getting closer and closer, and I expected some contact to happen because he was there, that next lap. So, and I can expect that, nothing wrong with that, going for the win. But I'm just glad I pulled it off.
Yeah, the way you executed those last restarts, man, the restarts were really important for the guys up front tonight. And fortunately for you, you got to control it, and you picked the top side, which is I think the best pick. Choose the top side, you get the high line going in, carry the momentum through the corner, and you ended up increasing your lead there enough to where he had to run you down. And then at one point there, before the last green white checker, he come up right to your back bumper, and I'm thinking, oh, he's going to make a move on him. And of course, you was thinking he's going to get some contact, right? So caution comes out and saves you there. And then it's all about those restarts at the end, man. So way to go on the controlling those restarts at the end of these things, because they came into play tonight. And what was the trouble everybody was having out there besides the track being so slick and unpredictable? How was the bumps treating your car, and how was you reacting to that?
They're all right unless you hit them wrong, and then you're just like sawing at the wheel on the straightaway. So
yeah, and it looked like it was coming off the ground.
Yeah, man, it was bumpy, and I think Daniel was right about the bottom was definitely getting to be the line. And that last lap, I was worried because it was getting really hard to handle up top, and I was gonna run that top still. So it was close, man. That caution.
Wow. Did you ever find the car unsettled off the bottom of the corner? Like, a lot of times it seems like the transition of the track down there on the bottom, especially to the backstretch when it comes off the corner and the banking drops out, it would chuck the car sideways. You didn't experience that at all?
I missed it all this race, but yeah, that all practice, you hit that thing and you're completely sideways. So I think everybody did a really good job. It's hard when someone messes up and there's a checkup in the field. You kind of just hit them, and like I think Trey said, no one was mad at each other or anything. It was a good race.
I would have to agree with that, man. You left 42 laps out there, and it was a struggle. You went from the front to the back to the front, and you ended up coming out on top. And I know you said something about driving it down in there too deep and all that, but if that wouldn't have happened, you wouldn't have got the lead under the caution there. So you drove it in there perfectly and had that lead on him when the caution come out, man. Hey, congratulations on a great run. And I have to say it, Kevin, you called it. He got it done, man, and we were watching you all night. We knew you had a car to win this thing, man.
Thanks very much. Yeah, feels good to win Sim 500. That's for
Absolutely, it's one of the toughest leagues that I've ran in. So, anybody you want to thank for this one?
Thank you guys for broadcasting. Thanks Sim 500 for having me, and for putting on good races all through the week. And thanks to all my teammates at OGR.
There he is, Bentley Glazer. Started back in 17th, worked his way up, fell back to the front, and did it. Hey, man, that's crazy, but you did it, man. Congratulations, and a fun fact for this one, Kevin, we had 2 lead changes tonight.
Yep, go celebrate, Bentley. And what other impressions did you have from this place tonight, Jerry?
Well, like he said, they're not mad at each other, so that's a plus. You know, a lot of beating and banging at a track like this, a lot of cautions tonight, so we didn't see a whole lot of green flag racing. Even though it's only 35 laps under green, it seemed like more, as Daniel said. It did feel like it for me too. But man, I had a lot of fun watching these guys out there. A lot of high hopes for some of these guys, and then you see them fall back, and then the way that Bentley overcame the adversity of falling back to 32nd and coming back through the field to win this thing, man, is the highlight for me tonight. The 18, he excelled, and he was able to hold off Falkingham, which a lot of people can't do. It might be dirt, but it still happened tonight for the 18. And the way he drove it down in there and took that lead, it's just perfect. It couldn't have worked out any better for him. And also his restarts. So, the 18 surprised me tonight, and you called it.
Yeah, I thought it was an entertaining race, and a tip of the cap to Joey Chatina and the guys for taking the risk to put this race on. They knew that it would probably have a lot of cautions, but quite frankly, I thought the racing was great in what we saw. The side-by-side runs through the pack. We saw drivers come from deep in adversity, and I just thought it was an entertaining race. And I don't know, it wouldn't be sour to see him do it again next year, but we'll see where the NASCAR world goes. I think that's probably going to be more of an inform on this, but I don't know. I'm going to say thanks to you for helping out, jumping in the broadcast, and I had a blast. Looking forward to seeing what these guys do next week at Talladega.
Hey, I definitely appreciate you coming out and helping me out up here. Usually it's just me up here, but it's never asphalt. It's never 120 laps. It wasn't asphalt tonight, but it did seem like it with 120 laps. And I think the biggest trouble these guys had was the asphalt cars on the dirt. And it's a struggle, especially with the track slicking it up like it did. And I hope you enjoyed it, man. Thanks for coming out and helping me.
Yeah, I think if they ran this every week or had more experience with it, it would be one heck of a show. And, you know, I thought the talent that these guys showed came through. Even though we had a good number of cautions, there was still some great racing tonight. And we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. From SRTV, I'm Kevin England, saying thank you to Jerry West and to the stars of the Sim 500 Esports League, and especially NC811 Call Before You Dig. For the sponsorship, we appreciate you coming out. We'll see you next week at Talladega.
Absolutely. Everybody have a good night.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love. If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC